2011 to 13 batch. So this was last year's paper, right? The one which was held exactly 2 years back. First of all, am I audible to everybody? Just would want a few yeses in the chat box. Okay, Meghna, Deepan, Akshay. Guess I'm audible. Okay, fine. Another thing, is this PDF visible? Is the PDF visible? Now, I've displayed the schedule of the next few WebEx sessions for IIFT preparation. Is it visible? Okay, great. And I'll just change the page once, and now you tell me. For example, now I'm moving to page number 10. Can you see this question number 46 on the top of page number 10? Question number 46, the minimum value of something. Okay, great. And can you read it properly, everything? Though I understand that you've got a copy of this PDF and you can, some of you might be carrying the printouts and everything, but still, is it visible on the screen clearly to everybody? Okay, so I'll assume that everything is working fine. The other day, GP told me that he had some problems with uploading the PDF, and that's why he had to share the desktop, which was slightly problematic in terms of annotation and some stuff. So I thought I'll check this once. We'll be starting in some 5 to 10 minutes, and by that time, you can just ask these queries about the uploaded files and everything else. So Arpit and I would be answering these queries. I think we've got sufficient people to start the event. I can see. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Great. So fine. So I'll ask by starting. In fact, you guys first. What is your expectation from the session? Some of you have already attended GP session the other day. And what is it that you want me to do today? And after that, I'll set the agenda. I have a few things in mind. Mind it, we're not going to solve questions. Probably a few of them, but definitely not going to solve questions. So neither is it about any specific section. Like I can see somebody typing quant and somebody BI. Then okay, Akshay said strategy planning. That is yes, one of the things that we are definitely going to do in this session. And this is about solving the paper. This is definitely about solving the paper. So you don't treat me as somebody who is a specialist of any of the sections. I'm not. I'm definitely not. So I'm pretty average at almost all the sections. But somehow I managed to pull it off when it comes to competitive exams. So there's something about the aptitude exams in which I'm generally able to do well despite having this belief that I'm not good at any of the sections. But कुल मिला के हो जाता है किसी तरीके से. So this is something that I wanted to share with you all. And so don't expect me to solve those tedious DI sets which appeared in this paper. This is got a difficult DI or the difficult quant questions or the ambiguous RCs or anything. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to tell you is how I attempted this paper so that I was able to clear the cutoffs in this, and how one should have attempted it or how one could have attempted it. The way I did it definitely was not the optimal way of doing it. Right? So there are definitely many ways of doing a paper, but I wanted to share with you the way I went about this paper. Right? So we would keep doing a few questions also on the way, and probably I would also learn a few things while solving the paper with you. If you have got something specific in mind for this, you can type that in the chat box, and we'll probably would want to address that during the session. So you can type that in the chat box, and we may consider doing it. Anybody wants to say something about this session? This is we are not discussing the solutions yet. You already have got this PDF, you've got the question paper, you've got the solution sheet, you've got everything. If anybody hasn't got it, you can easily get it. So all 135 questions, I think it's got 135 questions in the paper are solved in the solution sheet and everything. So it's not about doing the difficult questions. I'm not good at doing the difficult questions, right? Okay, so if you can just type your expectations from the session in the chat box, that will be great. Somebody says some preparation text for the next 9 days. I'll do that. Definitely do that. Ayush says many of us did not attend some previous IIFT sessions. Please keep that in mind. I'll do that. This session has got absolutely no prerequisites that way. Right? So anybody who is doing it for the first time would feel absolutely comfortable attending the session. Akshay says teacher selection and rejection. That's fine. That is what I'm here for. So I would tell you how to. And this would be very specific to IIFT. So how to leave and select questions in an IIFT paper. Anything else that somebody has in mind? Somebody says which topics. Akash says which topics can be ignored given CAT prep. Akash, I would want to answer this straight away. You cannot have any preconceived notions about which topics are to be ignored in any paper, even on IIFT. So you cannot go there in the examination having this in mind that I'm going to ignore this particular topic in the paper. And you might have certain things in the paper that you may feel not very confident about. For example, IIFT at times throws some 2-3 higher mathematics questions, which many people may not feel comfortable about, and they will leave those questions. But apart from that, I would still say read the paper on its merit, read the question on its merit. Fine. So don't go there with the mindset that no, I'm not going to do algebra in this paper. This is not going to work. So probably the algebra turns out to be easiest. Okay? So there are specific things. For example, in CAT, we always told you go for those 9 LR questions, 9 LR questions. They are the easiest because we could see a trend there. But no such trend is there in IIFT. If at all there is, then I'm going to share that with you. Nivedita, yes, I can read what you are typing. Please type a question if you have got something. Swapnil, please check your connection because we can read what you are typing, but if you cannot hear me, I guess everybody else can hear me very clearly and properly. Fine, so probably check your internet connection. Try restarting it if there is a problem. Meghna says how to go about selecting QA questions. We'll discuss the quant section where I'll tell you how to select QA questions, especially in an IIFT paper. Okay, Nivedita, you can ask whenever required. Okay, fine. So I guess it's time to start the session now because I cannot see any specific queries regarding regarding the content of the session. We are going to discuss this IIFT 2010 paper for the 11 to 13 batch. Happened 2 years back exactly. And IIFT, as you know, has been giving all kinds of permutations and combinations when it comes to sections in the paper. So the only constant in IIFT is that it's a 100-mark paper. So it's always a 100 marks paper. This is IIFT, and the number of questions generally varies from 120 to 150. This is something which is constant about IIFT. Generally has around 6 sections. So at times it has got some subsections as well, but generally IIFT has got around 6 sections. I'll come to the slide and we'll share it with you. So this was this paper for you, 2010 paper. It had 135 questions, carried 100 marks to be done in 120 minutes. 4 options in each question, and 1/3 of the mark allotted to the specific question was to be deducted for an incorrect answer. As always, IIFT had differential marking in the paper. Differential marking means there were some questions which carried a weight of 1 mark per question, questions with a weight of 0.7 marks, with 0.5 marks, and as low as 0.4 marks, as you can see in section 1 on your screen. So as you can see, this is section 1 on your screen. So the questions just carried 0.4 marks. And so all kinds of questions appear in IIFT. Negative marking is not differential, but the marking is differential. Differential negative marking black maya karti chikale kabhi. And so the negative marking was the extent of the negative marking was 1/3 of the marks allotted to the question. So if you get a question incorrect in quant, 0.33 marks would be deducted. Whereas if you get a question incorrect in GK, 1/3 of 0.4, that would be 0.133 marks would be deducted for an incorrect question in GK. I guess this is okay with everybody. So as generally talking about the distribution of questions in IIFT, in this paper, if you look at it, section 1 contains 30 questions, 0.4 ka weight hai, and this is 12 marks. So this is the GK section of the paper. So since I just had a look at this paper, so I can say that this is the GK section. Otherwise also you can see that 0.4 और किसी का हो नहीं सकता है. Section 2 is quantitative aptitude. This is the QA section of the paper. 30 questions, 1 mark per question, so it is for full 30 marks. Section 3 in this paper was data interpretation. Section 3 was data interpretation, 35 questions, 1 mark each, 35 marks. Now, what was special about this paper was that DI was clubbed with logical reasoning. So in this paper, it was LR plus DI. In some IIFT papers, it's question section having both LR and DI questions distributed almost evenly. And section 4 was English, broadly if you ask me. So this was verbal ability. Part 1 had 15 questions and a weight of 0.7 marks per question. So this was the RC part of the paper. And part 2 had 25 questions, a weight of 0.5 marks per question, which comes to, again, this got some slight error in this. This would be 12.5. So this was, I'll call it English usage. In the scorecard at times they call it vocabulary. And so as you can see, it is 6 broad sections. So at times the paper has got 6 sections, at times 4, at times 5. GK, QA, LR, PI, clubbed in 1, and English clubbed in 1. So it's RC plus EU in the verbal ability part. If you look at the respected weights given to the sections, GK is 12, QA is 30, LRDI is 35. And verbal ability is exactly 23 marks. Yeah. So this is the weights allotted to the questions. Now this differential marking also changes every year. Generally, it's 1 mark per question for QA, DI, and LR. But for others, it changes. So at times GK is 0.5 marks per question. At times RC is 1 mark per question. This time it was 0.7. The year before that it was 1 mark per question. So it keeps on changing. So you have to make your strategy according to the weights here. So you not look at the section in terms of the number of questions. For example, if you look at verbal ability has got 40 questions. 40 questions is a lot of questions as compared to, you compare it to section 2 and section 3. Section 2 is for 30, section 3 is for 35, it's got 40 questions. But these 40 questions just carry 23 marks. Right? So if you look at marks per question, it's pretty low in English as if you compare it to QA and LRDI. So this is 40 questions. If you look at VA, this is 40 questions and just 23 marks. And so when you are allocating time to this section, just keep this in mind that the maximum that you can score in VA is just 23 marks. Now nobody is going to score 23 marks in VA for sure if one wants to clear the cutoff. But what I'm saying is that you're being marked out of just 23. So always keep this in mind. Don't look at 40 and distribute time. So you have to keep that sectional cutoff thing in mind when doing the paper, but just make sure that don't devote too much time into it, because IIFT, at least for the last 2 years, is not considering any sectional cutoffs. Might be there this year, but you never know. As far as this particular paper was concerned, there was nothing mentioned in the instructions at least. But I find it worth mentioning that the year before that is 2009 paper, there were sectional cutoffs. So since there were sectional cutoffs in the 2009 paper, people were actually really wary about the sectional cutoffs. They might be there, they might not be there. IIFT at times says it's there, it's not there. At times does not mention it, but it's there. So all sorts of things can happen in IIFT. So just remember that if there is no mention of sectional cutoffs in the IIFT paper, just don't ignore it completely. So what I would suggest is that do something in every section. So if it's, let's say, QA, which is the weakest, try to get some 5, 7, 6, 4, something. Open your account. Not on the left hand side of the numbers line, but on the right hand side. Right? So open your account in a section to be on the safer side. In this paper, there was no mention of negative marking, but all the students assumed that there will be negative marking, but eventually it turned out to be that there was no negative marking in this paper. For the record, the cutoff in this paper was, yes, this is something very, very important. Now this is a precise number. If you want, you can take a note of it, and you may be needing this number when you analyze this paper later. And so the cutoff for this paper was 37.40 marks out of, this was out of 100, obviously. Let me check this once. I guess this was either, but what I remember is that there were 2 bonus marks awarded in this paper for quantitative aptitude. So everybody was given 2 bonus marks in this paper for quantitative aptitude. So I just got confused if it was okay. So no, the cutoff was 35.74, right? No, I got this right, the data. So the cutoff in this paper was 35.74. I confused it with previous paper. Just cancel that. The cutoff in this paper was 35.74. Okay. This was 35.74 with no sectional cutoffs and with no sectional cutoffs, right? So the cutoff probably could have been a little lower had there been sectional cutoffs. So if you look at this cutoff, just keep this in mind that you have to get to this mark of 35.74 with no sectional constraints that day. So when there are no sectional constraints, the cutoffs tend to go higher. And this 35.74 included 2 bonus marks in QA. Bonus marks were given for 2 incorrect questions in QA to everybody. And so IIFT generally contains 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 incorrect questions, out of which some 3, 4 or 2, 3 questions get reported by students, and they award everybody for those 2, 3, 4 questions. So I'll not say that that's fair to everybody, but it still kind of compensates at least to people who had wasted some time on this. So you can say that effectively in this paper, the cutoff was 33.74. So somebody who would not even have a look at those 2 questions still got 2 marks for those questions. So the effective cutoff, I'll say, was 33.74, almost 1/3 of the total marks of the paper. So this is for everybody who would want to analyze this paper later. कैसे मेरे को इस पेपर में 33-34 मार्क्स स्कोर करने थे. अच्छा, ये पहले से बिल्कुल ही पता नहीं होगा कि कट ऑफ कितनी होने वाली है, बट IIFT कट ऑफ जनरली ओवर इन द रेंज ऑफ 27-28 to around 35-37. Last year was an exception for IIFT when the cutoff was as high as around 45, because the number of calls given last year was drastically reduced. Again, for those of you who are interested, some 57,000 people had appeared in this paper, and 1,100 were shortlisted, including all the categories in this paper. So when 1,100 people were shortlisted, the cutoff in general category was 35.74. Next year, just 988 candidates were shortlisted, and the cutoffs shot up to 45. So my assumption is, had the number of candidates called for the interview remained the same, that's 1,100, the cutoffs would have been below 40 only, and so that makes a huge difference to the cutoffs. So let's just pray that this year they choose to call more students to the second stage. And so this is what I wanted to tell you about the cutoffs and everything in this paper. But mind it, the students at the time of writing the paper did not know whether they are going to be sectional cutoffs or not. And just keep this in mind. Okay, I appeared in this paper, and for a change, I wanted to clear this paper as a student, and so that is why my inputs probably would be worth sharing as to how I attempted the paper. I would share my scorecard with you guys. Just a second. Okay, now this is slightly difficult to read because somehow it's not vertical, it's horizontal. It'll be some effort reading it, but I guess everybody would be able to read it. I got 11.34 in QA, 17 out of 35 in DILR. Passages, your RC questions. So I got 3.74 in passage. Vocab this is English usage. I got 6.65. In general awareness, I'm not good at it. It doesn't matter, I'm not good at anything. But I ended up at 1.75 marks. So it was a total of 40.48, which was a good 5 marks above the cutoff. Fine. So I'll come back to this thing again, the previous slide. Okay. Somebody is saying that you are bad at GK. I told you I'm bad at everything. So I'll come back to this again. So my distribution of time, in fact, I think I'll be slightly prescriptive in the sense. If you look at the sections, I would say that the distribution of time in this paper should be something like this. look at GK. GK, I think, should be given some 10 to 15 minutes, I'll say. Definitely not more than that. 30 questions, either you know the answer or you don't know the answer. Quantitative aptitude, 30 questions again, you would definitely not do all 30 at just 11, 12, 13 questions, probably even 8 or 10. So I'll say around 35 minutes to QA. So this would be around 35 minutes. LRDI has got again 35 questions. I'll say around 40 minutes to LRDI. And VA carries 23 marks. What are we left with? This is 40 plus 35 plus this is 90. Around half an hour, I'll say again around 35 minutes. So that completes our quota of around 2 hours. Now this is not religious. The numbers that I'm saying are definitely not religious. But it should be something like this, because if you don't stick to these limits, there is a good chance, there's this good chance that you might end up with a very healthy score, but might miss out on one of the cutoffs. And so I would definitely advise the students to stick to these time limits. And there's one more reason, apart from making sure that you clear the cutoffs. There's one more reason why I'm saying that stick to some kind of a time limit. Because every section, if you look at, let's talk about quantitative aptitude section. Quantitative aptitude section, especially, now I'm being specific, very specific to IIFT. It's a mixed bag. It'll have some really easy ones, some middle level of difficulty, and some really tough questions. So if you look at quantitative aptitude in this paper, let's say you are able to do some 15 questions. Or let's keep it a bit more realistic. Let's say you are able to do 10 to 12 questions in 35 minutes. And I'm 100% sure that if you give it, let's say, that this would be how much time per question? Roughly 4 minutes, 3 minutes per question. Now, if you continue in that section, quantitative aptitude, beyond these 35-40 minutes, I'm sure that you will not be able to attempt these questions at the same rate of 3 to 4 minutes per question, because I'll assume that the questions that you have done till now are the ones that have been picked by you according to your strength, according to the difficulty level of the paper. And so the questions that you're going to do beyond this would not be the ones that will be the easiest in the paper. And so that way, the marks scored per unit of time starts reducing beyond a particular slot given to a particular section. And so there is something which is scoring in QA, something in RDI, something in GK, something in BA. So you should try and extract the maximum out of every section. That is the reason I'm saying stick to some kind of time limit. So for somebody who's excellent at verbal, probably you can give it 25 minutes, not 35, and score almost equally well as other candidates, not so good ones, as they do, and accordingly you can make some changes. But this is the broad breakup. So even though I'm saying that I'm not good at GK, I'll probably give it 10 minutes. Reason is simple. The section got off clear karna, and probably I'll have a sitter there. So I'll capitalize on it. So this is roughly the time limits that we'll stick to. So what we'll do today is that we'll analyze each of the sections in these time limits and see what could have been done in the paper and what should be left. क्या करना था, क्या नहीं करना था, कैसे इस time limit को उसमें utilize करना था. In verbal ability, if you look at the parts of these, I'll say that one is 10.5 marks, another is 12.5 marks. EU में 25 questions हैं, RC में 15 हैं. So I'll divide these 35 minutes almost equally between the two. My priority would be EU, always EU, but then it's a personal choice. So you might say that I want to do everything in RC, all 15 questions. So that's completely up to you. But I always have this belief that EU is one of the one of the fastest things that can be done in a paper. So even though the weight that it carries is pretty less, it's just 0.5 per question, but still I'll suggest you to attempt something in EU, something substantial in EU. And so the 35 minutes to be divided in a manner like this. So you can say that from 15 minutes here for 15 questions, I think this is enough. So even if you don't do all, nobody will do, I think, all 15. But these 15 minutes should be sufficient to do some 8 to 10 questions in this. And this 25 questions should not take more than 20 minutes. So in these 20 minutes, you will comfortably be able to do some 15-20 questions according to your strength and the difficulty level of the question. So this is a way that I would look at this paper. Now, when you get this question paper, this is obviously the first sheet of the question paper. So when you have a look at this, what you generally tend to do is, even if the details of the section is not given, you just flip over quickly and check what section 1 is, section 2 is, section 3 is, section 4 is. So you have something like this in front of you in probably the first 1 minute of starting the session. Right? So when you start taking the question paper in this, have something like this in front of you, and then decide for yourself how you're going to divide this time in the time to come. Now, when it comes to, now we have made this division of time in terms of kitne minutes kahan par dene, but when it comes to starting the question paper, now again it's different for everybody. For example, I think I'm good at quant and AI, but I would still not want to start the session with quantitative aptitude and data interpretation. The reason is simple. I think when you start the paper, you should have some marks in your kitty very, very early into those 2 hours. So I would not want to still grappling with the first question of the paper in the 3rd minute of my 120 minutes. Did you get it? So I'd say that probably doing a GK question would take me just 15-20 seconds if I zero in on the right one and then just mark and go ahead. ऐसा हो जाता है ना कई बार that even though quant is my favorite section, but the first question I pick is a tougher one and I'm not able to solve it in the first 3-4 minutes and then start panicking. And so generally I don't start with Q and A and would start with something like GK or English usage or something where I can score very quickly. So let's follow this approach for these for this session and start with the questions. I would okay, so let's start with this GK section one. What we have done is that we have given some 10-15 minutes to this section. Now IIFT mein one very, very specific thing about GK is that you've got a lot of match the following kind of questions in this. So if you look at these questions, this is the paper. Look at question number 4 and 5. Again, these are match the following kind of questions. So what I generally do is I'll just have a cursory look at it. Would try to find something which sounds familiar, which is slightly probably easy to start with. For example, look at this question number 4. You might feel slightly comfortable with this Interpol thing. Okay, so you might feel कि Interpol वाला question करा जा सकता है in this paper में. जैसे अब देखोगे अगर इसमें तो Interpol में what are the options that you have here? This says okay, Interpol में this is either 2, 1, 1 or 4. I'm talking about the location. So Interpol कहाँ पर हो सकता है इसके हिसाब से if you look at the options, so this is location 1 Lyons, this can be at location 2 Vienna, and option C says again Lyon, and option D says 4 Brussels. So if you know this, you can proceed with this, because there are things which can be eliminated by using this. If you're not really confident of it, look at the second choice for Interpol. Interpol mein second choice is the country where it is. So the options are it is Austria, 2 is Switzerland, 3 is France, and 2 is again Switzerland. So if you've got a good idea of, if you've got a even a slight idea of where this thing is, ki Interpol ka office kahan par hai, then you can probably answer this question, and without knowing the exact location of the place where it is. For example, the answer to this question I think is option B, because I get a feeling ki Interpol ka jo location, and that is France. And so I marked this question, I got this correct just by knowing कि Interpol का जो office है that is in France. And उसमें और मुझे कुछ ज़्यादा जानने की जरूरत नहीं थी, because if you look at the options, Interpol में Austria option था, Austria में वो definitely नहीं था, एक Switzerland option था. If you look at options C and D, तो Switzerland में नहीं था, और option B was France. Option B में B13, so it says Interpol Lyons France. So yes, this was the answer here. So So I do a lot of questions in GK by doing this. Let's move forward and try finding a few of these here. Okay, let's look at this question number 7 here. It just says that match the company with its tagline. Though I'll say that it's a really easy one, but the first thing that strikes me when I look at this question is this BSNL thing. Just look at this BSNL. You must have seen it everywhere, anywhere. BSNL connecting India, BSNL connecting India. And so, if not anything else, the first thing that will strike me here would be BSNL का और कुछ नहीं हो सकता, connecting India होगा. So B3 is something which should definitely be there. And if you look at the options now, B3 कहाँ पर है? B3 और कहीं है ही नहीं. B3 is just an option C. So this is how you can do some of the questions in GK. अगर ये B3 कहीं और भी होता, then probably I would have to look for something else as well. But क्योंकि इसमें कहीं था ही नहीं, तो इसके लिए कुछ और करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. तो वैसे इसमें एक दो और भी आसान थे. इनफैक्ट टोयोटा नहीं पता होगा तो एयरटेल का पता होने का चांस ठीक ठाक है. एयरटेल इज एक्सप्रेस योरसेल्फ. अगर आपको सिर्फ एयरटेल पता होता तो आपके पास दो ऑप्शन होते, ऑप्शन ए और ऑप्शन सी, उसमें आपको एलिमिनेट करना होता. बट कई बार वो सबसे आसान हो जाता है. अकॉर्डिंगली let's move a bit further and see what else is there. Okay, look at let's say question number 12 in this. Question number 12 is about the new names of some of the countries. So it says Southwest Africa, Rhodesia, Northern Rhodesia. Again, I got this question right. I'm just trying to recall how I did that. Just a second. It says okay. I had an idea about Southwest Africa being called Namibia now. Now again, if you look at the options, this was something about which I had an idea. It's not an easy one, but I had an idea about this thing. Southwest Africa being called Namibia now. If you look at the options now, again, इसमें कुछ भी नहीं था options में. अगर ये ठीक था, now this was, and I'll not say I was 100% confident about this, but if this was correct, the only option that fitted in was option B. So this is how generally I do GK, because I'm not very confident about my answers in general knowledge. So at times you can answer some of the questions based on your common sense and based on certain things like that. For example, I took this IGMA paper just a while back, and there were so many questions that could have been answered by just using your common sense. So I'm not saying that they would exist in IIFT as well, because IIFT is much more comprehensive. They kind of cover all kinds of topics and everything, but still they are manageable. There are questions which are manageable. So as you could see that I just ended up with 1.5 marks in this, and this was because I just read 6 or 7 questions like this, and I got one incorrect, but I definitely did not devote more than 10 minutes to this section. So somebody who is better at GK would probably want to devote it probably 15 minutes, but definitely not more than. What I definitely did was that I flipped over. So I did this. यहाँ देखा कुछ दिख रहा है काम का, अगर कुछ दिख रहा है तो probably I'll stay, otherwise I'll move forward. ऐसे करके. No, this is taking me some time because this is a soft copy. Otherwise, if you do it on paper, it can be done very quickly. Okay? So you just approach. अब जैसे question number 30 को देख लो. I think this would be one of the easier ones. Question number 30. 30 was look at Times Now. Times Now से Times of India relate कर सकते हैं. Times of India हम सभी लोगों ने कभी ना कभी पढ़ा है. Everybody knows that Benetton Coleman है. So B का 1 के अलावा कुछ नहीं हो सकता है. If you look at the options, B1 कहाँ पर है? This is just an option B and option D. So I'll safely say that I can eliminate these two options. So I'll eliminate option A and C. या तो B answer होगा या फिर D answer होगा. Accordingly, I can proceed and answer the question. And so you can do something in GK even if you are not very confident about the section. Okay? So this was the idea behind sharing how you should go about doing GK in this. Now mind it, I'm not even when I took this paper, I was not a serious aspirant. And it does not matter to me, but it matters to you. And so make sure that you don't go unprepared in IIFT for GK. You've got every reason to prepare hard for GK, because this is one section where you can score quickly. So you'll just give it 10-15 minutes. I ended up with 2 marks, probably you'll end up with 6 or 7 marks. And so just make sure that this section is not ignored. With this, I'll move ahead. I'll just leave this section here and would want to go to the first page once again. And this is the section now. With this, I would want to move to the, I'll call it one of the favorite sections of mine, the English usage section. So this is part 2 of section 4 here. So this is part 2 of section 4 here, which has got 25 questions. And I'm saying that I'll definitely not give it more than 20 minutes because I'll be exceeding my time limits otherwise. And so I'll try finding this section in the soft copy. Just give me a moment. Should be somewhere here. This is section 4, part 1. These are the passages. So this is the RC thing. So when I'm flipping over, I'll just keep an eye on what else is there in the paper. So this is again RC. This is passage 4. So RC definitely has got 4 passages. And in fact, RC has got precisely 4 passages. So we had just seen there that RC has got 15 questions. So what I've also seen is that RC has got 15 questions divided into 4 passages. So probably 3 to 4 questions per passage. We'll come back to it later. First, we'll have a look at the English usage section of this paper. So the first thing I'll do is just spend some 1 minute on analyzing what all is there in the paper. So I can straight away see some fill in the blanks here, 2 blanks kind of fill in the blanks. So there are 6 of them. This is not to be written, just to make a break of this paper. So there are 6 SIBs, and then there are some questions based on grammar. Fine. So this is 117 to 19. Let's move forward and see what else is there. Okay, 120 and 21 is vocabulary, pure vocabulary. Somebody knows it, then you know it. Otherwise, if you don't know anything, then probably should move forward and do something else. 120, 121, 120. In fact, all these 4 questions are vocabulary questions. Straightforward vocabulary questions. You know them, just answer them, otherwise just leave them. 124 to 129 is, what is this? Sequence. So this is paragraphs. So there are 124, 125. There are 6 paragraphs here. Slightly different from the format that CAT gives, but again there are 6 paragraphs. Then again there are 4 questions of vocabulary and 2 questions of selecting the questions. 8 straightforward vocabulary questions, which is I'll say pretty high. The weight given to vocabulary in this paper was pretty high, so it's 8 into 0.5, 4 marks carried by these 8 vocabulary questions. So I'll assume, we are not going to discuss these vocabulary questions, so I'll assume that somebody with a good vocabulary will probably score 2.5 marks out of 8. Somebody with a poor vocabulary would probably end up with a 0.5 or a 1. Somebody with an average vocabulary, 1.5 something. But everybody would get something out of these questions. There is no point in devoting any time and trying to figure out the answer in this, especially in a paper like IIFT in which you are running against time and 120 minutes, 100 questions. So if you know the answer, just mark it. Otherwise, just move ahead. Don't try and waste any time in it. So now when I move like this, what I'm tempted to do is, let's say मेरे सामने 134, 135 है. I can see that these are 2 questions selecting the correct sentence, grammar जैसे कुछ दिखता है, and question number 134 is really very small. So it'll just take 30 seconds, 20 seconds reading it. So just very quickly read it. He made a blunder mistake, definitely incorrect है. वो बोल रहा है उसको correct sentence चाहिए. I've learned this lesson word by word. Probably learned this lesson. I think read करते हैं word by word. Learned this word by word. थोड़ा stupid सा लग रहा है. She does not know swimming. ये कुछ ठीक ठाक सा sound करता है. And he got his daughter married. So okay. A और B तो पक्का ही गलत है. These are definitely incorrect. This is incorrect. He got his daughter married. तो बिल्कुल ही ठीक लग रहा है. She does not know swimming. Probably should be something like she does not know how to swim. At least to me it sounds better. I'm not sure about the technicalities of it, but probably if you make it how to swim, this would be slightly better. So if I have to go for one of these 2, I would definitely say that the answer would be he got his daughter married, because I cannot see any problem with this sentence at least. So I'll mark option B here, and this I will not, would not have wasted more than 30-40 seconds in marking this answer as C. Let's read 135 quickly now. The average male investor expects to see all his investment stocks moving up, and they are often disappointed. So pakka galat hai. This they represents this should be, and he is often disappointed. So this they is definitely incorrect here. This refers to the average male investor. तो ये plural हो गया यहाँ पर गलत है. The people in the country are smarter than in other countries. ये तो ठीक लग रहा है सुनने में. C देखते हैं. This is incorrect. The number of failures in products in final quality testing are increasing every year. The number is increasing every year होना चाहिए ना. Again वही वाला प्रॉब्लम है यहाँ पर. This is subject verb agreement error. So the number of failures of products in final quality extension is increasing every year होना चाहिए. This is definitely incorrect. Before restructuring the firm, the CEO must consider the employees. बहुत गलत नहीं लग रहा है, but I think CEO must consider or must consult the employees. So I think appropriate नहीं है उतना, ये वाला जो word है यहाँ पर. Must consider the employees. So let's read B once more. The people in the country are smarter than in other countries. I don't see a problem with this question. I don't see a problem with this statement. So I think if of the two of these I have to go with one, I would go with B. And so I'm no expert at grammar, absolutely not. But you can very clearly see that we could eliminate at least two options in both these questions very easily. So if you can do that and you are fairly confident of your answer, you can probably go ahead and mark something there. And so you are left with two here as well. Before restructuring a firm, the CEO must consider the employee. I think this is incorrect because this is not appropriate. So had it been something like the CEO must consider the interests of the employee or something, शायद ठीक हो सकता था, but इस केस में कुछ कंसल्ट जैसा वर्ड ज्यादा ठीक है. And moreover, option B में कुछ गलती नहीं है. The people in my country are smarter than other countries. I think it should be the answer. So this way I'll give it some 1.5 minutes to these two questions and move forward. In our case, move backward because all of our questions are now on the previous page. Okay, here are the paragraphs. I am slightly tempted to read these paragraphs because they look pretty short to me. And so I can very clearly see that it will not take much time at least reading these paragraphs. So I'm slightly tempted to read these paragraphs. Let's try one or two out. For example, let's say 128 देखते हैं चलो. Okay, what I'll do with these is, since the problem here is that it's got 6 statements, what I want to do here is that I would go with the options first. So I would not read all the statements or anything. I'll just go with the options. Because what I can see is that the statements here are incomplete. So you can see sure enough failed. I have tested myself and इसका मतलब कुछ सीक्वेंस जैसा बनना चाहिए ना. Let's try it out. 128 को पढ़ते हैं पहले. 128 में जैसा सीक्वेंस उन्होंने लिखा है, let's try and put it together in the same form. So if A is the correct answer, for example, let's say, so if you go with A, 1, 2, 5, 3, 4 and 6 is the sequence. So this is slightly awkward. The moment you start reading it, I don't think this sounds slightly awkward in the beginning as well. थोड़ा सा अजीब लगता है सुनने में. So this, I don't think this can be the answer. Let's move to statement B here. B starts with statement 4. Even while consciously trying to be humble, I have tested myself and sure enough failed by carefully setting a wide range. Don't you think there's a problem here? Sure enough failed by carefully setting a wide range. I failed by carefully setting a wide range. Again, I can see a problem here. It cannot be sure enough failed by carefully setting a wide range of something. So I don't think option B can also be the answer here. So I'm just going with the options here. Let's look at option C now. Option C is 5 to 1. So option C says, as we'll see the core of my professional activities, which is statement 5, I have tested myself and sure enough failed even while consciously trying to be humble by carefully setting a wide range and yet such underestimation happens to be. Again, I think this is very awkward. Let's try the last statement out now. Option D, look at option D. Option D reads, I have tested myself and sure enough failed even while consciously trying to be humble by carefully setting a wide range and yet such underestimation happens to be, as we'll see, the core of my professional activities. I think this surely sounds much better than everything else that we have read. So I'll go with this answer. So yes, the answer cannot be anything here but option D. Now, the approach to paragraphs, I don't know how paragraphs are taught that way, because there are so many approaches to paragraphs. Mandatory pairs is definitely one of them. But when you look at these kind of paragraphs, I would definitely advise going with options. That can be one of the approaches to these paragraphs which are very short, wherein you can just read the sentence very carefully, and there's a good chance that you'll be able to eliminate one or two options or three options probably very easily. Let's try one more. Let's say It says 127. Again, I'm tempted to 127 because 127 appears to be very, very short here. Let's just read it once very quickly. Option A से start करते हैं. Okay. Option A reads, statisticians, it has been shown, tend to leave their brains in the classroom and engage in most trivial inferential errors once they are let out on streets. Now, this sounds absolutely spot on. I don't see a problem here. If you want, you can read it once more, but this sounded absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. So, since I could not see a problem here, and I'm short of time, I would not even bother reading anything else and would mark option A as my answer. It cannot be anything else. It just sounded so perfect that anything else could not have been my answer in this. So you could see that we could do it very, very quickly, just because the statements are very short. If I try to take, let's try 129 in front of us. So let's try 129 once. We'll start with option A now. 1 to 4. I guess there is some problem with option A. It seems to be incorrect because they have written this numeral 4 twice. Let's just leave option A now. Let's start with option B. 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, 6. Option B. Except that people got all excited and talked quite a bit about, so I would not have cared. Looks slightly awkward. Let's read it once more. Except that people got all excited and talked quite a bit about should have been something about. Awkward लगता है. Let's leave it. Come to option C now. The idea is finding the most appropriate. So once I find something which looks good, as we could do in question number 127, I will not read further. Would not even bother reading further. Come to question 129. 129 option C. Just have a look at option C. 241 option. Then let's read option C. Option C says, so I would not have cared the least about them, except that people got all excited and talked quite a bit about what these figures are going to mean, pouring verbal sauce around the forecast. Now, again, this sounds perfect to me. There is absolutely no problem with the sentence, no problem with structure or anything. In fact, trust me, I did not even care about trying to figure out what the meaning of this thing is, what they said. But it just sounded all right to me. Because one, I did not go through, because yes, there is some printing error, there is some a mistake in the original question paper as well. B did not sound good. It was slightly awkward. C sounded perfect. Now, if you want to be doubly sure about this, you can probably, go with option D. For the sake of this question, let's just read option D as well once. D says 5 to 4. Pouring verbal sauce around the forecasts, so I would not have cared. नहीं लगता है that this can be answered. Pouring verbal sauce around the forecasts, so I would not have cared the least about them, what these figures are going to be. No. It definitely cannot be the answer. It definitely cannot. This is an awkward construction. So option B cannot be the answer. Again, awkward. This is awkward. Option C was fitting in perfectly. And option A, I'm not sure. Either it was incorrect or something. That's not the answer. So out of these, I have to pick one. I'll pick option C. So I think these parajumbles could have been done like this, and you would mostly get all of these correct with an approach like this. I don't think any of these parajumbles would have taken more than a minute, because sentences are very, very short in this, and there were 6 in number. So yes, these 6 questions plus those 2, these 8 questions would not take more than 7-8 minutes. Let's move to some other part of the question paper. I'm leaving the vocabulary questions deliberately here. You could do these grammar ones as well. Let's try reading this one, which is in front of us. 119 per लेते हैं. So 119 says, as a result of surging financial greed, the international rating agencies upgraded the ratings of the credit derivative instruments, and hence analysts recommended a strong buy, ignoring the advice of Warren Buffett, who warned that these instruments would prove not only dangerous but ineffective in the long run. So it says, what do we have to do here? Let's see. Who warned that these instruments not only dangerous. not only dangerous, but read statement one, statement A once. It says, ignoring the advice of, look, I'm not interested in the first part of this thing. Okay? This is kind of ignored. The important part is, yahan se start hota hai. So this is the part which is important. Ignoring the advice of Warren Buffett. And what was that advice? Ignoring the advice of Warren Buffett, who warned that these instruments would prove not only dangerous, but ineffective in the long run. Statement A is, who warned that these instruments would prove to be both dangerous and ineffective in the long run. मेरे को तो ये भी correct लगता है. Statement B देखते हैं, warning that these instruments would prove not only dangerous and also, B is definitely not the answer. This again sounds awkward. Would prove not only dangerous and also something. Not only के साथ में, it should be but also. Warning that these instruments would prove itself to be, this is awkward. Who was warning that these instruments would prove not only dangerous but ineffective in the long run. I'm not really sure about this, but I can definitely eliminate option B and C in this. And so if I have to replace it with something, I'd say that I'll have to go with one of A and D, who was warning that these instruments would prove not only dangerous but ineffective. I think option A sounds the best to me. Ignoring the advice of Warren Buffett, who warned that these instruments would prove to be both dangerous and ineffective in the long run. Yes, this should be the answer to this. Okay, would move forward now. What do we have here? We have got some fill in the blanks and two more grammar questions. So, out of all the questions that we've discussed till now, you must have realized that the grammar questions, would probably took a lot more time as compared to the other questions, because the sentences are lengthier in the grammar questions. So that way, probably the first choice would be doing something like, the fill in the blanks before doing the grammar questions. And fill in the blanks, I'll say, something that I personally like as well, because they can be done very, very quickly in this. Let's go to question number, let's say 111 only. It's a fill in the blanks. Let's read it once. These issues are extremely blank, and any knee-jerk reaction will ultimately result in a loss of for all shareholders. Okay. It should be extremely unassociated. हो सकता है. Issues can be ambiguous, nuanced, context. I think second blank would give us a clue here. What can it be? This thing. Any knee-jerk reaction will ultimately result in a loss of plutocracy हो सकता है क्या? I don't think it can be plutocracy. It can be serendipity, which is accidental good fortune. It cannot be serendipity. I think the only word that fits in here in the second blank would be opportunity. Let's try fitting the whole thing in. So it becomes, these issues are extremely, if the issues are extremely nuanced, any knee-jerk reaction is definitely going to result in a problem, and as a result, a lot of. Try the next one, 112. Let's see question number 112 here. 112. Okay, growth under this government has been blank high and remarkably blank even during the worst global economic crisis. Okay. Relatively high हो सकता है, obstructedly high doesn't sound correct. Okay, let's look at this option D. Growth in this government has been sustainably high. Okay, this sounds good, and remarkably resilient. Again, I think this has to be the answer. So the growth sustained in this. So the growth sustained here, and it was sustainably high, continuously high, the growth, and it was resilient even in the worst global economic crisis. So I don't think, I think this is the best thing that fits in here. So 112, the answer should be D. The good thing about the fill in the blanks question here is that, you can do them very, very quickly. You can do these fill in the blank questions very quickly. So look, unlike a vocabulary question where two words are given and you have to find a similar pair, analogy kind of questions, these questions give you some scope to apply your common sense. Right? This is the, the good thing about fill in the blank questions. So if you're not really sure about all the words, all the meanings, everything, still you can attempt something in the paper. For example, let's look at question number 116 here. 116 says economic growth is on autopilot, unlikely to be derailed by any lapse into any lapse into में क्या आ सकता है? Any lapse into recession हो सकता है? Any lapse into growth? It cannot be growth. It cannot be boom. Right? So the answer has to be one among C and D and controls, or to be economic growth is an autopilot unlikely to be derailed by any lapse into what should the answer in this? Recession sounds good. Let's see if it fits into it. The second blank, if we derail by any lapse into recession and controls, or to be reduced by serious policy reforms. Okay. So either I think the answer is C or D. Reduced and or to be reduced by serious. Okay, I think the answer cannot be C because it says economic growth is autopilot unlikely to be derailed by any it's talking about derailing by any lapse into something and controls, or to be this thing should be the opposite of the first thing. So this second blank I think should be the opposite of this derailed thing. So it says unlikely. It's an autopilot, so it's unlikely to be derailed. Now, अब यहाँ पर जब और आया है, so after this or it should be something which goes up. So the opposite of derailing. So the opposite of derailing, I think, can be boosted. So it should be something like this. So it says unlikely to be derailed by any lapse into dirigism and controls. Or I'm not really sure about this first word here, but still I'll say that since this first word is derailed, the second word has to be something which goes up. So guess this answer should be option D here. Now I could answer this only because I applied this logic here, because it says it's not likely to go up or not likely to go down because it's an autopilot. So that's why answer cannot be C. A and B obviously cannot be the answers in this case. So that's how we can answer some of these fill in the blank questions here. And so I did it like this. I'm not sure if I did any vocabulary questions here. So there were 30. I think there were 25 questions in this. So even if you leave everything in vocabulary, you're still left with 17 questions. 17 में से you can easily do some 12-13 questions and probably get at least 10 correct. It will give you some score of around 5 to 6 marks and around 15 to 20 minutes in this section. Okay, is there anything else that you want to discuss here? Okay, I think this is it here. Let's move to the second part of the section. Let's move to section 4, part 1, which is reading comprehension. Now this is something where I would want to spend some time. Now I'm not going to do the questions. What I'm going to tell you is how to select the passages here. Now, I'm assuming that not everybody is going to do everything here. No, you simply cannot do it. You're not left with enough time to do everything here. So when you come to reading comprehension, the first thing is try reading just the first paragraph or the first few lines of the passage. For example, let's start with this. Kodak decided that traditional films and films would continue to dominate through the 1980s and that photo finishes, film details. So, okay. Just give it some 15-20 seconds. Just read the first few lines. Okay, so this is about Kodak, the company that produces cameras, right? So this talks about what happened in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, and how Kodak, made the policy regarding the cameras and things like that. So don't think it's a difficult read. The passage per se looks to be simple at least. So what we'll do is just look at two things: the length of the passage and the questions associated with it. Length, the number of questions, and the type of questions. Let's move forward. Let's see how lengthy the passage is. So this is I'll say a pretty lengthy passage. This is around a page and a quarter, or probably I'll say this is around 1.33 pages, right? And how many questions are there in this? 1, 2. This is at least 5 questions. In fact, let's check this out. This is exactly 5 questions. So the good thing is that RC's got 15 questions. You already know that. So out of these 15 questions, 5 of the questions are from this passage. So probably the question, if the passage is an easy read and the type of questions look easy, then probably I can go for it. So now the criteria, another criteria to choose would be have a look at the questions now. 96 reads, as for the passage, the following statements truly reflect the real theme of the passage. It's about the theme. We really are not sure about the theme kind of questions so many times, but since the passage is not difficult, probably yes. Let's read question 97. Which of the following statements is not true? Now this is a fact-based question. Read the statements. Kodak committed a mistake by selling sterling. The chemical business was in sync with the... These are facts. All these are facts. So you can easily find out which of the following is true and which is false. Okay, 98. Kodak lost a big piece of its market share to its competitors because of the following best explained reason. Again, a fact-based question. 99. Arrange the given statements in the correct sequence as they appear in the passage. Probably I'll say a setter. You just have to find the event, zeroing the exact event in the passage in this 1.33 page long passage, and just arrange those events. And 100 is again I'll say a simple one because the name of the company is given and some activity related to that company is given. So I'll say that out of these 5 questions, at least 3 questions are very simple. Which of the following is not true? Arrange the statements, match the following, and even this one, even this question number, what is this? Question number 98 here. The real challenge, I don't know, I haven't read it. I don't remember reading it when I did it long time back. But 96 even does not look to be too intimidating. So this is something. This is one passage that I would definitely would want to attempt. Now the choice with you would be that once you've decided in the first 1 or 2 minutes about this passage, you can straight away either go to the attempting the passage or you can have a look at the other passages as well. So what I generally do is that I'll have a look, a quick look, just a 1.5 minute kind of thing at all the passages, especially in a paper like IIFT where I know that I'm not going to do all 4 passages. So probably I'll do just 2. So let's have a look, a very quick look at the other passages in this. Passage 2, just give it some 15, 20, 30 seconds, just read the first paragraph. Okay, something on investment, definitely not as easy as the first one was. Let's look at the length, not as lengthy as well. So this would be, I'll say less than a page. Now look at the question. Question number 101. We'll look at the question, the type of question. 101 says which does not reflect the true essence of the passage. Now, the way this question is different from the first question of the previous passage was that the options are, much lengthier here. If you remember there, just I'll show you. The options there were, far smaller. Just have a look at this. These options here. So these options, there is 1 line, 2 lines. These options. Compare it to the options here in this. These options. So these options, in fact, these options look intimidating to me. I not want to read them. Again, let's check other questions in this. 102. The author of the passage suggests an anomaly that leads to systematic errors in predicting future. Which of the following statement does not best describe the, again, lengthier options? Question, at least, I don't think it's a fact-based thing. So, kuch to isme difference karna padega. Would probably read 103rd as well. Which rules is also talking about? This is probably one question that can be done. 103. Let's see 104 as well. According to the passage, which statement written below is farthest in explaining the meaning of the passage above? Again, I think 104 is again a difficult question, and again with lengthier options and combinations of options. So probably I have to choose one of the 2 passages, passage 1 and passage 2. I would just go with passage 1. Would simply not think about passage 2. Passage 2 has got how many questions? This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's got 4 questions, slightly shorter, but definitely a slightly tougher read and definitely with difficult questions. Let's read passage 3 once. Let's just give it some 20 seconds. Okay, let's move forward. What is the length of this passage? Again, I will say roughly around the page, almost the same as the second passage. An okay kind of read. Let's look at the questions now. 105 says the hypothesis mentioned in the passage tests at least one of the following ideas. I don't think it will be a simple one. 106 probably looks to be doable. So probably you'll find some fact-based thing here. Okay, 107 for summarizing the passage, which of the following is most appropriate. So we have seen two difficult questions here, 105 and 107 at least. Let's move forward. Okay, so this is just three questions. No, I'll definitely not do it for three questions. For just three questions, I'll not do this passage. So if I have to just choose one of the three, I'll choose the first one, the codec one. Let's have a look at the last passage as well in this now. How long is this? This is again about a page. Okay, I'm just giving it 15-20 seconds. We'll read just the first 3, 4, 5 lines. This definitely is a much easier read. So I'll say just in terms of text, passage 1 and 4 are easier than 2 and 3. This is just on the the text given in the passages. 1 is slightly lengthier, 2, 3, 4 are almost the same in length, but 4 is definitely easier to read. Let's have a look at the number of questions and type of questions here. What question is this? This I think is 108. Okay, this is definitely a smaller question. And it says saddle shoes and Vietnam Express in the passage refers to. I think you will be able to find this in the passage if you read this. Let's have a look at the rest of the two questions as well. Identify the correct sequences. Now this is something that everybody would be able to do. This I'm sure you'll be able to find this in the passage. And question number 110 says choose the most appropriate answer. I'm talking about this question number 110 here. So choose the most appropriate answer according to auto. I think if you have to choose two passages of these four, it should be passage 1 and passage 4. Now, in the beginning, you could have given some 4 or 5 minutes to this exercise just in the beginning, and zeroed in on the which two passages you are going to do. And this would be this one Buffett passage has got 3 questions, and the codec passage has got 5 questions. So this is the 3 questions here. Which I think, if not everything, you should do something here. And if you go to this passage 1 here, this passage 1 has got 5 questions. So if I have to do, just 2 passages here, I'll do these 2. In fact, if I remember correctly, I did these 2 only. So this is 5 plus 3, 8 questions in RC. So 8 into 7 is 56. So you will be attempting questions worth 5.6 marks if you attempt just passage 1 and 4. It should not take you more than 15 minutes in all the exercise of selecting the 2 passages and doing it. And I don't think you'll get more than 2 or 3 incorrect in this. So that way you can definitely end up at a score of around 4 in around 15 minutes in the RC section. So this was about choosing the passages and the questions. So the things broadly that should keep in mind while selecting the RC passages. Number 1, unlike a cat, you cannot do everything here. So you'll not be doing all 3 RC passages. So you definitely have to select passages. So I'll say the first thing here would be, number 1, the most important thing would be type of passage. Kitna mushkil hai, kitna aasan hai, how tough it's to read. 2 would be length. 3 would be number of questions. So these are the things which are important here. And 4 would be type of questions. So as you could see that we made a choice of passages here based on, we chose passage 1 because it was an easy read and it had 5 questions and the type of questions was also not very difficult. We chose passage 4 because again the length was same as 2 and 3. But though the number of questions not much, it was just 3. But the questions seem to be very, very short, extremely short questions, and they appear to be fact-based. So that's how we decided to just do these 2 passages. Just remember that at times it may happen that every passage has got 2 or 3 easy questions, 2 or 3 difficult ones. And so in that case, your approach to RC would be slightly different. I think in a section like this, in which you can see that there are two easier ones and two difficult ones, probably you can you'll be better off doing all the questions in these two passages and leaving the rest two altogether. If you have decided to do just two, somebody's more confident in asking, then probably you can do all four. That's okay. I would advise doing, even if let's say this is the paper that's going to come this year. So even if you have this in mind, and let's for a moment assume that IIFT is not going to mention sectional cutoffs this year as well. So even if I assume that there are no sectional cutoffs, I would still advise everybody, even somebody who is not comfortable with asking, just do one passage. So probably in a paper like this, if you see something like this, just do this coded passage. So 5 out of 15 questions. This is 3.5 marks worth of attempt. Even if a pathetic answer, you'd probably end up with some 2.5 marks because of the nature of questions. That should be good enough to see you through. At times we've heard, we have seen in a few exams that the cutoff is nothing but any positive mark. So if you're at 0, probably you'll not be you'll not be considered clearing the cutoffs. If you are at even let's say a 0.5 or a 1, you have cleared the cutoffs. No concrete data on this because many institutes don't talk about this, but I still suggest in all these institutes and exams which say that there is no sectional cutoffs, I'll still recommend getting an odd mark or two. For example, SNAP says that there is no section cutoff, but probably you would be better off just scoring 1 or 2 marks in every section, and that's about it. Okay, so I'll go to the first page again. Then it could be this thing. So now we have discussed GK, we have discussed verbal ability. It's time to move to quantitative aptitude and data interpretation, LRDI. First, I'll go to quantitative aptitude. That is section 2 of the paper. Akshay is saying that they say that non-negative, non-zero score is the qualifying criteria. I think this is the criteria. Don't get a 0, don't get a negative score, and get something. Get 1 mark, get 2 marks, get something in the paper. That should be enough to see you through. Okay, so I think this is where it starts. Okay. What we'll do very quickly is just have a look at this paper in terms of how many questions, what topics, how many questions are very long, which are very short, things like that. Start from the first question of the section, question number 31 first. Find the sum of the following series. Okay. You can see the scheme, the answer option is not very comfortable. You can probably leave and go to the next one. So I'll assume that not everybody would be comfortable doing a question like this, and mind it, I've always mentioned this and always hold this, that this does not have sectional cutoffs, but anything which is the mentioned as the sectional cutoff in any section of any paper would be something that would be achievable by everybody. And so you would never need to do anything in the question paper which is beyond an average student to achieve. So if you think there is something difficult, trust me, there will be something easier lying there for you, which you definitely capitalize upon. I'll not do questions, I will move ahead. Question number 32 this time. How many positive integers n can be formed using the digits 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7 if you want n to exceed 6 million? I think this is something that we can do. So this is definitely doable. I'll just quickly mark the questions that can be that we can attempt or think about attempting. We don't have 1 or 2 minutes per question. We'll probably have 3 to 4 minutes per question. So we'll just do this exercise in the next 5 minutes. So this is something that we can do. Just mark it. Question 32. Now question 33. My problem with question 33 would be this is a good 10-12 lines. So I would not want to even have a have a go at this question. But it will probably take some time. So probably in the second round I'll do it. But abhi ke liye, I'll just leave this question. Let's move ahead. Question number 34. Again, 34 in the first round, I'll not do it. Probably, if it's more than anything else. So I'll just leave this question number 34 here. This is about 10 lines. 35, let's read it once. Metro train from Mehrauli to Gurgaon has capacity to board 900 people. The fare charge in rupees is defined by the function this, where X is the number of people per trip. How many people per trip will make the marginal revenue equal to 0. Now, if you're comfortable with the term, if you think this can be done, you can do it. Otherwise, छोड़ सकते हैं. 36 देखो. 36 is if each alpha beta gamma is a positive acute angle. Now look, if you're comfortable with trigonometry, you can probably give it a go. Otherwise, if the very look of the the very sight of the question scares you, you can just leave it. Look at 37. Not very long. Just read it quickly. Shyam, Gopal, Madhura, 3 partners in business with capitals respectively. This and this. Fine. Shyam gets 20% total profit of managing the business. The remaining profit is divided among the 3 in the ratio of their capitals. Okay. At the end of the year, the profit of Shyam is rupees 2200 less than sum of the profits of Gopal. How much profit Madhur will get? Now, this is the question that I'm definitely going to do. I just mark this. This is something that should be done by everybody. Looks easy, at least prima facie. Question number 38. In how many ways can 4 letters of the word series be arranged? You can 4 letters of the word series be arranged. I think I'll do this. Question number 39. The area of triangle is 6 to its vertices are around the third vertex triangle. Find third vertex. If you're comfortable with coordinate geometry, do this. Otherwise, just move ahead. So what we are doing at the moment is I'm just trying to tell you how to choose questions in this, because look, one approach can be that you start doing everything and anything that comes your way in this. So that way probably will be able to do some 7 or 8 questions. But the problem can be that at the end of those allocated 35 minutes for the section, you realize that you have not read some 10-12 questions of paper at all, and so this will not be a good idea. So a better way to do it would be read the questions once, get an idea of the difficulty level and the type of questions and the topics and everything, and then start attempting the questions. Okay, let's see what this next question is. 40 looks like this is arithmetic discrete ones. Small confectioner bought a certain number of pastries flavored pineapple, mango, block flowers. Appears to be attemptable. Mark this. Okay. 41, if you're comfortable in algebra, do it. If you're not, then just leave it. 42, 3 professors. This is time and work. Time and work is something that people are generally comfortable. So I'll suggest trying your hand at it. 43 is I would definitely want to try this question out. I'm not sure how it's going to be eventually, but I would definitely want to try this question. Probably something, some approximation would help in this. 44. Logs, if you're not very sure of, you can probably leave this. 45 is it again looks like time and work, though it's slightly lengthier, but since it's time and work, let's read it once. 3 pipes have been connected to a tank. These pipes can fill the tanks that contains 5, 10 and 15 hours. I think this would be doable. So now this question number 45 now. Let's move to the next page. Question number 46. Again, this is trigonometry, but since it's asking about the minimum maximum value kind of thing, you can probably try plugging in a few values or use that funda of arithmetic mean is greater than equal to geometric mean. So probably you would want to do something like this. 47 looks to be lengthier. I think this is quite lengthy, so I would not want to read it. It looks very lengthy. Next take this is 48. 48 of Wesley markers. It says log 2 to the base 5 is a what? It cannot be integer. It cannot be a prime number. Obviously not a rational number. This has to be a rational number. In fact, this is one question that makes me really happy for the simple reason that I just going through the question, scanning the question paper, and I came across a question which I could mark straight away. Good. So this was something which should have been done by everybody. Okay, 49 says, 49 is a bit of geometry, probably we'll try it later on. 50 is the smallest perfect square that is divisible by 7 factorial. I think this should be doable. What you have to do is just write down the value of 7 factorial and make all the squares. I think this should be doable. 51, let's see. A survey shows that I think 51 is an easy question on set theory. Looks like that at least. Okay, let's move ahead. In a triangle ABC, the length of the side BC is okay. I'm not sure. You can leave it then. 53. I think this will be an equation and could be solvable. Let's mark this. 54. I don't think you would want to read question number 54 because it's very lengthy. Okay. Question number 55. 55 says find the coefficient of. 55 is a question that if you're comfortable with this type of question, then only you should attempt it. Otherwise, it's not going to be this easy. 56. Look at question number 56. What does it say? This looks like a stereotype question, though I'm not sure if it's going to be very simple, but it looks like a stereotype question. Guess something similar as sometime somewhere appeared in CAT earlier. So we'll just mark this question 56 now. Let's move ahead. 57 is okay. This is mensuration. 58 I'll not read. It looks quite lengthy. 59 is what is the value of C square in the given figure where the radius of the circle is A units. This looks doable. In case this will just involve some arrangement. Let's try this out. And question number 60 says, how many subsets of 1, 2, 3, 11 contain at least one even integer? I think this is attemptable. Yeah, I think this is definitely attemptable. We'll find out if this is doable or not, but this should definitely be attempted. So this will be question number 60. Okay. Fine. So if I'll just go back to counting the number of questions that we have marked. So we have marked 5962 here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 6 here. 2 and 6 would be 8, and 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is 14, and this is 15. So we have marked exactly 15 questions here. Now my way of picking and choosing the questions would be different from the ways that each one of you employ to zero in on the questions to be attempted. But something should remain common. For example, a question which is 10, 12, 15 lines long would be of the same length for each one of you and will take much more time reading. Right? So you may have your strengths here, but ultimately when it comes to solving the question, the first thing that you need to do is reading every bit of it. So if you look at this question 33 which is in front of you, it will take some time reading the question, even if it's very simple. Right? So our criteria was simple: questions which look doable, questions which are shorter, and questions which look slightly familiar with this. So I have marked 15 questions. I'm not sure if everybody would be able to do all these 15 questions, or probably we have missed out on 2 or 3 of the questions which are hidden in those 15 questions that we have left. But I'm sure, if we talk about a good score in this paper, I'll say that if you get a 12 or a 13 out of 13 one section, it will be a good effort in this section. And so if you just do 12 or 13, I'm sure if you just do these 13, 14, 15 questions, it should be enough for you. Now, let's see some of these questions. Okay, somebody saying, please show which 15 questions you selected. If you want to, take a note of which questions you selected, and just dictate the numbers. It's 32. 32 के बाद में this is 37, 38, 32, 37, 38, 40, 42, 43, 45, 46, 48, 50, 51, 53, and then it's 56, and finally it's 15. 9 and 60. So these are the 14, I think 15 questions that we have selected in this. Let's try doing a few of these questions. Let's discuss a few of these questions. For example, so we'll try doing it together. For example, now there's no strict order in which we do these 60 questions. So probably my personal preferences, I'll probably do arithmetic first. I'll do short questions first. So 60 looks interesting to me. Let's see if it can be done. Just read this. Question number 61. Okay, it says how many subsets of this thing contain at least one even integer. So this has got 11 elements in all. Okay, Akshay has given the answer already. This would be how many subsets in all would be there of this question of this set? So the set is this is 1, 2, 3, 4, everything till 11. So if you look at the total number of sets that are possible for this, it will be 2 raised to the power 11. So there will be 2 raised to the power 11 sets in all of this. So it goes by the logic. You'll either select one or reject one. So 2 options for 1. You will either select 2 or not select 2. So we'll have 2 options for 2, likewise 2 options for 3, 2 options for 4. So the total number of sets, the subsets of this set could be 2 raised to the power 11. So it says contain at least one even integer. So you will select all the sets that do not have any even integer. Yes, that's the way to go. So all the total number of subsets having no even element would be that have only odd elements. Odd elements would be 1. These would be the odd elements: 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. And so if I have to make all the subsets of this thing having just odd elements, that is no even element, how many can be formed? It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be 2 raised to the power 6. So out of these total subsets, which are 2 raised to the power 11 in number, then if I subtract 2 raised to the power 6, which is the number of subsets in which there is no even element, I'll get the number of subsets which have at least one even integer. This is fine. So the answer would be 2 raised to the power 11 minus 2 raised to the power 6. Can somebody quickly tell me the answer? 2 raised to the power 10 is 1024. So 2 raised to the power 11 is for double over. This is 2048. And what is 2 raised to the power 6? This is 64. So this is 2048 minus 64. This would be 1984. So our answer would be this one. This is our answer. This is 1984. So I'll guess that most of you would be able to do this question because this is a stereotype question. Somebody says that a similar question appeared in the catch lot of it. Great. Let's look at question number 59 now. I'll not do everything. Somebody said question number 59, so I said we'll discuss question number 59 also. What's the value of c square in the given figure where the radius of the circle is a units? Okay, what is c here? A is the radius, c is the length. Okay. I think this is the cosine rule. Yeah, Monica. Monica Ketan says that isn't it the cosine rule? This looks like the cosine rule. Let me just check. There's some catch in it. Yeah, this looks like the cosine rule only. If this is the cosine rule, the formula is very simple. This would be c square is equal to a square plus b square. I think this is option A only. So this is the cosine rule. If you look at it, this is c square is equal to a square plus b square minus 2ab cos theta. This is the cosine rule, and I think this can be applied perfectly here. I don't see a problem with it. I think this is fine. Perfect. Yep, this is the cosine rule, friend. So this has to be the answer. It cannot be anything else, friend. So this question did not look scary or difficult in the first one, but it turned out to be a lot easier than what was expected to be. So this is nothing but a way to write the cosine rule. So for question number 15, the answer has to be option A, which is nothing but an expansion of the cosine. Let's move to this page now. I'm tempted to do, look, if you've selected the questions, all these questions, it's not required for you to attempt all these questions in the order in which you have selected. For me, the most tempting question now looks to be question number 50. 50 is very tempting, but it's very small. So I've already read the question. So would probably want to question number 50 first. Just read it once. Okay, let's write 7 factorial. So this is 7 factorial, which is 1 into 2 into 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It says the smallest perfect square that is divisible by 7 factorial. Let's combine all the 2's. Where are the 2's? This is a 2, this is 2 2's, this is 1 2. Guess this is 2 raised to the power 4. How many 3's are there? This would be 1 3. 1 3 here. This is 3 square. 3 is gone. 1 5 and 1 7. Is it the extension? Just tell me. Yes, this is the extension here. So if you look at this extension of 7 factorial, this is 2 raised to the power 4 into 3 square into 5 into 7. Now 2 raised to the power 4, it's already in the form of a perfect square. 3 square is already in the form of a perfect square. So what we'll need to do is that we'll need to multiply it with a 5 and with a 7. So 5 multiplying with 5 will make it 5 square, and multiplying it with 7 will make it 7 square. So that will become a perfect square. So perfect square chronically, you'll have to multiply this by 35. 5 into 7, 35. The answer would be this thing. 2 raised to the power 4 into 3 square into 5 square into 7 square, which can be calculated very quickly. So what's the answer if somebody has already figured it out? Yeah, I guess the answer would be 176400. This is the answer. Okay, Shobit, the nice observation. Shobit says that option D is not the answer because sum is not divisible by 3. Right, right. Guess this will not be enough. You can do it very quickly. So answer eventually comes out to option B in this case. Okay, this was quite doable here. Okay, which one would you want to do next? I think 51 भी try कर सकते हैं. 51 says a survey shows that 61, 46 and was previous one. I think we can try this question number 51. Does not look to be too difficult. Okay, what we'll do is that let's assume that this is something like this. Okay. Let's think of A as people who do who just watch one movie, B as people who watch 2 movies, and C as number of people who watch all 3 movies. So A plus B plus C would be in this case 100 minus 3, I guess. Yeah. It will be 97. It will be 97 because there are 3% people watched none. Just have a look at this. So A plus B plus C would be equal to 97 here. What else can we write? Okay, if we add these three numbers, 61, 46 and 29, what do we end up with? 61 plus 29 is 90, 90 plus 46 would be 136. So the total number of instances can be counted. So people watching one movie would be A into 1, A. B people watched 2 movies, so it will be 2B. And C people watched 3 movies, so it will be 3C. So A plus 2B plus 3C would be equal to 61 plus 46 plus 29. Very stereotype thing. So this would be equal to 36, I guess. What else do you know on this? It says 25% of people watched exactly 2 of the 3 movies. So what we get here is a value of B. B key value is 25. So if B is 25, A plus C would be equal to, from this first thing, and this would be how much? This is A plus C becomes 72. Fine. And what do we get here from the second one? We get, I think, A plus, yeah, this would be A plus 3C is equal to 136 minus 50. So we subtract 2B from this thing. So this becomes 86. Just solve these two. So A plus C is 72, A plus 3C is 86. So what gives you is that 2C is equal to 14 or C is equal to 7. The people who watched all the 3 movies were C only. So we got C as 7. So answer would be option D in this case. So this is our answer. Option D, 7%. This is correct. So this was also doable in this. Somebody had said option C. I think you have to check your answer once. I guess answer has to be option B only, 7%. And now you can calculate, obviously calculate all the values. So A plus C is 72, C is 7, so A will be 65, B is already 25, so you get all the values, you can cross check it. Okay, let's look at this thing. Question number 53 once. So I guess there are 2 ways of doing question number 53. You can either try substituting the values. It's very simple. It says in a dream you find the house of rows are numbered consecutively from 1 to 59. What is the value of x is the number of house preceding the house number x is equal to the sum of the numbers of house following it. Can 21 be the answer for this? Not possible. Not possible. 21 cannot be the answer. So basically, if 21 is the answer, sum of the numbers from 1 to 20 is same as the sum of the numbers from 22 to 49, which is definitely impossible. So 21 cannot be the answer. No, start substituting in place of making the equation. I'll first go and this thing. 36 up to nation that this may be equal. 21 cannot be the answer. 30 again I don't think can be the answer. 42 looks on the higher side. Just check this quickly. What is this value? 1 plus so this would be equal to 1 plus 30 upon 2 plus obviously this is how many numbers? 34 by 2 which is the total number of terms in this into 1 plus so this would be 17 into 35. And what is 36 plus 49? This is how many terms? This is 14 terms, I guess. Yeah. This will be 14 by 2 and upon 2 into 36 plus 49. How much is this? This is I think 85. Yeah, this is 85. So this is 7 into 85. Is this the same thing? Looks to be. Yeah, this is the same thing. So this 35 can be written as 5 into 7 here. So this becomes 17 into 5, 85, 85 into 7. This is also 85 into 7. And so the answer has to be 35 on this. Absolutely. And so this is one way of doing this question. So there are similar questions hidden in this, in which you can apply some logic and do it accordingly. Had the option choices, the choice in the options being something like 33, 34, 35, 36, and 7, it would have got a little more close. But again, and the way to move forward would be that you pick the closest option according to what you think the answer is, and start by checking for it. For example, in this question, let's say you're not able to figure out why 30 cannot be the answer. Right? So 21 is ruled out, 42 is on the higher side, it's also ruled out, but you're still confused about 30. So your two cases in that case would be, let's say you assume that 30 is the answer. So the two cases would be, one would be from 1 to 29, and the second side of the equation would be from 31 to, and move like this, 31 to 49. So now tell me, which side would be higher in this? Just based on the logic that we have arrived at earlier, which side would be higher in this? Since it gets balanced at 35, जैसे जैसे नंबर बड़ा होगा, कौन सी साइड इसमें बड़ी होनी चाहिए? Tell me. Which side should be higher? Type in the chat box. Obviously, the second side has to be higher in this. RHS has to be higher, no? So if you add this, this is also very obvious from this. If you look at it properly, you'll realize that 1 plus 21 up to 29 would be, much smaller as compared to 31 up to 49. Okay, Niharika, try typing in the middle as well. Fine. But when you calculate it, you realize that 1 plus all the numbers up to 29 would be much lower than 31 plus all the numbers up to 49. Fine. So if you ultimately figure out that right hand side of this equation is higher, then which way do you move? And so if 30 is not the answer, it will still give you a clue that you have to move to the to a larger number to make the RHS lower in this case. And so if you try with 30 and you don't arrive at an answer, you can straight away mark the answer as 35 because 42 is way high. You should do this only when you are confused between option choices B and C. So between 30 and 35, if you start with the 30, you can rule out 30 and mark 35 as the answer because one of the four has to be the answer. So you don't need to check the calculation again. This is what I wanted to say. Okay, Avni, nice observation. Okay, what else should we do here? Okay. This has got a few questions, in fact. Which one do you feel tempted to do first? I think 38. 38 because it's very, very small. How many ways can 4 letters of the word series be arranged? And how many ways can 4 letters of the word series be arranged? So what it's basically trying to say is, what I can understand with this is, the language is not spot on. It's saying that we have got these 6 letters, S-E-R-I-E-S. You have to pick 4 of these 6 letters and arrange them. So you have to make 2 or 3 cases. Let's try and do it very quickly. What can be the cases in this? Okay, let me open a notepad. Let me open the whiteboard. Can all of you see the whiteboard? So we had this thing here. Okay, thank you, Ayush. Thank you, Kash. So this was it. What we have to do is we have to pick 4-letter words here. What can be the cases? All different. All different would be, how many distinct letters are there? This is S-E-R-I and E. This is 2 and rest all are 1 each. So all different would be 5p4, right? So you can pick any of the 4 out of these 5, S, E, R, I and E, and arrange them. This will be 5p4. What else? 2 same, 2 different. So what's the option for 2 same? 2 same can be 2 S's only. Okay, I think I made a S-E-R. Okay, I'm so sorry. I made this mistake. So this would be, now this is the thing, right. I'm so sorry, I made a mistake. Okay, so this is SERIES, which has got 2 S's, 2 E's, 1 R and 1 I in this. And so there'll be, the first case would be all are different. If all are different, we have just got 4 letters, S, E, R and I. So you pick 4, you have 4, you have to arrange those 4. It will be very simple. So it will be nothing but 4 factorial. 4 factorial would be what? This would be 24. So this is the case for which all 4 are different. Now one case would be that 2 are same and 2 are different. If 2 are same, this same thing can be picked in 2C1 ways. And 2 different can be picked in 3C2 ways. And so if you have to pick, let's say, the same one, and so same is either S or E, so it can be picked in 2C1 ways. And let's say you pick S, so you are left with E, R and I. When you are left with E, R and I, you have to pick 2 different letters from this. So 2 different letters from E, R and I can be picked in 3C2 ways. So this is the number of ways in which you will select this. After that, you will arrange these. Arrangement can be done at 2 same, 2 different would be 4 factorial divided by 2 factorial ways. I think this is how it should be. And the third would be, this is 2 different, 2 same. What else is left? I think there's just one more case left. 2 same and 2 same. Do you have a choice here? 2 same, 2 same. Obviously, you're talking about arrangements of this. SS, nothing else. So if this is arrangement of SSE, this will be nothing but 4 factorial divided by 2 factorial, which is how much? This would be 24 by 4. I think this is 6. Let's calculate the answer quickly. How much is this? This is 12, 24. This would be 3. I think this is 12, this is 3, and this is 2. 12 into 3, 36 into 72. So this would be, finally the answer would be 24 plus 72 plus 6, which is 102. Yes, this is fine. I don't see a problem here. Let's go back to the question once. Okay, so we have our answer here. So this has to be option D, which is 102. So 38D is 102. This is definitely the answer for us. So we have done another question then. What else to do now? Look, you must have realized that I am also selecting which question to do first from among the ones that I've already marked for attempting. So let's see. $37 doesn't look to be doesn't appear to be too difficult. Okay, let's move quickly to the next page. So let's do just one more, question number 32. Question number 32. Just read it once. How many positive integers n can we form using the digits 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7 if we want n to exceed 6 million? And so the number has to be upper form. This number can only be upper form, something like this. So it has to either start with a 6 or a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so there can be just two types of these numbers, the one starting with 7 and the one starting with 6. So if we put 7 in the first place, how many options are there for the next, for making a combination of the next 6 digits? So next 6 digits, we have 3, 4, 4, 5, 6. This is in fact exactly 7 digits. So we are left with 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6. So in this first case, in which the number starts with 7, we just have to arrange these 6 digits. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits, and 2 4s are same and 2 6s are same. So the number of arrangements would be 6 factorial divided by 2 factorial into 2 factorial. Fine. Similarly, when you have got the 6 here, anything in which it says greater than 6 million. So anything here would result in a number greater than 6 million. So likewise, if you do this, you will be left with 3, 4, 4, 5, the other 6 and 7. So it will again be 6 digits, but the difference here would be that 2 similar 6s which existed here are not there in this case. So the answer would be 6 factorial divided by just a single 2 factorial. That is 2 factorial to take care of 2 4s. And so you can calculate the answer quickly. How much would this be? This is this is, I think, one would be 360 and this is 180. Yeah, this would be 7 from the cards plus 360 and this would be 180. So 180 plus 360 becomes 540. So this becomes the answer on this. I think all of you must have been able to get this easily. And so we could see that we could easily do some 8-10 questions here without putting too much effort. So that way, crossing 10 is in the section would never be a problem. So you can easily cross some. Somebody wants me to explain this again. Rahul says, okay, Rahul, this number has to be greater than 6 million. And so if the number is greater than 6 million, let's do it here. If this number is greater than this number, see? So it says that the number has to be greater than this number. Okay. So number can either start with a 6 or start with a 7. So it will be followed by 6 digits then, in either case. Okay. So if it starts with a 6, what are the digits that are left? We'll have to go back to the question once. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so the digits left here would be 3, 4, 4, 5, 6 and 7. These are digits left. Now 6 is fixed at the first place, so this is 6 places of how many digits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits. So 6 digits, 6 places. In how many ways can you arrange these 6 digits in 6 places? There's just a single repetition of 4. So it will be 6 factorial divided by 2 factorial. Likewise, in the second case, it starts with a 7. So what are the digits which are left? 3, 4, 4, 5, 6 and 6. This would be left. Now this is again 6 digits. So this is 6 factorial divided by 2 factorial to take care of these 2 4s and 2 factorial to take care of these 2 6s. So this results in 180 and this is 360. So 180 plus 360, 540 becomes the answer for you. I guess this will be clear to everybody now. Okay, somebody is asking how do we know that repetition of digits should not be considered. Jyoti is asking how do we know if repetition of digits is to be considered or not. Jyoti, if you've done even a basic level of permutation combination, you would understand that that's the language of the question. It says how many positive integers can we form using the digits 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if repetitions were to be considered, there was no point in repeating the digits in the string given. So since it already says 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, and there are 2 4s and 2 6s, what implies is that they want you to consider 4 twice and 6 also twice. And otherwise, they would just have said using the digits 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever is the number of times. So when they have given precisely 2 4s and precisely 2 6s, it means that this is this is just an arrangement of these 7 digits. I hope you got it. Jyoti? Yeah. Okay. I got one or two requests, people asking me about the scorecard once, and I'll just go back to the scorecard before moving to the final section, which is LR and DI. Yeah, this was my scorecard in this test for those of you who want to. So I got, what is this, 11.34. I guess these are the questions roughly that I did in the paper. You could see I did not do any difficult question. In fact, I'm not good at doing difficult questions. I do only the easy ones. But I'm always able to find some 12, 13, 14 easy questions in the paper. So I got 11.34. LR, I got around 17. Passage 3.74. I told you which 2 passages. So if you do those 2 passages, you'll be doing the questions for some 5, 6 marks. And you should easily get land somewhere around 4 marks. Yeah, Dhruv, I got a call on this. The cutoff here was 35.74. So it was 5 marks above the cutoff. Vocab, I think I did around 20 or 25, ended up 6.75. Vocab, general knowledge, I was not really sure of. So I did some 7-8 questions, got 1 or 2 incorrect, and ended up with 1.75. So this was my scorecard for some of you who might have joined late and were wondering what I did in this paper. So now we're left with this last section, DINR, in which I got 17. The thing which is worth mentioning here is that I did only 17. So probably, Kamlesh, if you could please rotate the scorecard. Kamlesh, I'm struggling a bit with it. I'll just try if I can do that. But I think since the PDF, I think I'll not be able to rotate this because I cannot find any tool for this. Try rotating your machine or monitor once, so it will not be too much of a struggle. Akshay says, I think also, yeah, Akshay, I had a call last time as well from IIFT. I did not intend to, clear the cutoffs, but last year also did not consider sectional cutoffs. That's why I was able to manage the call last time as well. Okay, I'll move to the last section in which I did precisely 17 questions. One thing was mentioning quantitative aptitude, as I've already mentioned once. They gave 2 bonus marks in quantitative aptitude for 2 incorrect questions. Now I don't remember which those 2 questions were, but effectively then you can say that my score in quantitative aptitude was not 11.34 but 9.34 only. So probably I must have got, I think, around 2 incorrect to end up at a score like this, 11.34. Fine. So it was 2 bonus marks plus 9.34, 6 is 9.34, because I don't think one section was very easy. In fact, DI was also not easy, but probably my question selection was spot on in DI. Rahul is asking how many did I attempt in DI. I did 17 only. So I did 17, I got 17. Okay, I'll move to the section now. Again, we'll not do the questions, we'll just see how to select the right questions in this, and after checking the composition of the paper. Directions for question 61 to 65. Okay, let's just give it a quick read once. Now, this 61 to 65 to me definitely looks doable. I think this is definitely doable. What they want us to do is make a table like this. I'll just draw this rough diagram for you. It'll be a table like this. It starts on 19th and goes on till 26. So I'll use the whiteboard instead, I think. It's going to be a table like this, which is from here. So 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. It's a table like this. Okay. Let's go back to the PDF once. So it says it's a span of 8 days, 6 competitions, 1 competition held in a day. Rock band was not conducted, no fashion breakers. Okay, so this is another piece of information is 19th was a Wednesday. So this was a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. This is another piece of information. So it was something like this. It looks easy. I think it looks easy. So what you just have to do now is plug in these computations there. I won't do it any further. I think people would be able to get it. So this is a very simple arrangement problems, and easier in the sense that IIFT generally, if they give you arrangement problems, they generally have got too many variables. So if it's a table, let's say, so it'll be a 4 by 4 kind of a table or 6 by 5 kind of table, not a table as simple as this. So and consider it a relatively simple IIFT LR question, because this is a, what do I say, this I'll not even consider this second thing as a column. So this is, I'll not even consider it as a column. So it has got these 8 numbers, and you have to associate those activities with these 8 numbers, and I'm sure everybody would be able to do it. So this is, I think 5 marks were there for the taking, and I definitely must have done this. I'm sure I would not have let this opportunity slip of missing on these 5 crucial marks. So this is something which should have been done in the paper. I think I'll count 5 marks here for everybody. Anybody who has seen this question. And the good part about this question was that it was in the beginning of the section. Since it was there in the beginning of the section, you could not complain that I could not reach the end of the section where it was hidden. And you must, I'm not sure how many people know that. So the sections are jumbled in IIFT. The paper is jumbled to people. Generally the order of the questions in a section remains the same. So I guess it will be the same for everybody. The first set of the paper, which is an easy one. So it's a good start, that I'll say. I'll move forward here. Let's look at this second set, which is 66 to 68. Read the information given below and answer the questions that follow. A parking lot can accommodate only 6 cars. The 6 cars are parked in 2 rows in such a way that the front of 3 cars parked in rows facing the cars in the row. Always not parked in the beginning of any row. Estimate is second to the right of I-10 Punto. This is again an arrangement problem 7-3 question, and this also looks very, very doable. This also looks very doable. So this again is an arrangement problem, and I don't think it'll pose too many problems attempting it. So guess this should be doable. This for those of you who do not get what an arrangement would be, it would be something like this. A rough diagram. It'll be something like this. Okay, so you've got 6 cars here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you have to just fill in the stuff in these 6 blanks based on this information. So I think this is another question, another 3-marker set, which was definitely doable. It looks easy. So I'll assume that this was another set that I must have attempted in this. So this makes it 5 plus 3, 8. Let's move forward. That way, this IIFT paper is very similar to what has appeared and what has been happening in CAT of late. Easier LR, very easy LR. In fact, the very, very scoring LR. Let's read 69 to 73 once. 6 friends were engineering graduates. All 6 of them were placed in 6 different companies and were posted in 6 different locations. Okay, 6 friends, they work in 6 different companies. Company plus location as a combination is given, and they've got email IDs from 6 different service providers. So it's a 6 into 3 kind of a table, it looks like. Okay, then then some information based on this table is given. Again, it does not look to be very difficult. I don't think there'll be too many problems with this. Cisco Jamshedpur Telco Pune, so they have given the exact combinations of companies and cities as well. Right, so the table would look something like this. And again go to the whiteboard. So this table is going to be something like this. This is the name of the person. This is the company plus location combo. These are not two different fields, but just a simple one field. And this is email provider, email service provider. Just a table like this. It goes on like this, and there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess there were 6 friends. So this should be on once again. Yeah, Rahul, Kabir, Anup, Raghu, Amit and Alok. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 friends. Yeah. So there will be a table like this. So it becomes something like this. 2, 3, 4. So this is the table that you need to fill. Again, it's an assignment problem, and I would assume that this would be doable. This would definitely be doable because there's nothing new in it. You have been doing all these kinds of questions so many times in the past. You have already practiced so much information given, and just to fill the table, and with that table you'll be able to answer all those questions. This is again now 5 questions, 69 to 73, if I remember correctly, I think almost everything out of those 17 marks that I scored in the section came from LR, except for probably 2, 3, 4 questions from data interpretation. Let's move forward and check. This we have done till question number 73. 74 is how many zeros are there in the following sequence which are immediately preceded by a 9 but not immediately followed by a 7. Now this is a counting question. May take some time, but again, this is something that you can definitely do. If you can count it properly, I'll say that you have this 1 mark for the taking. So, strangely enough, in fact, we have, we have all the questions that we have seen in this section. This started from question number 61. I've been saying that you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, but then I cannot help it. All of them have been easier questions. So we have done till this page exactly 14 questions. I would strictly advise anybody to attempt all these 14 questions. Let's move forward and see what this section is in store for us after that. Somebody is asking about the advice on the preference of the sections. I'll come back to it later. So just give me some 10 or 15 more minutes, and we'll talk about the overall strategy now. Question number 75 is again an individual question, but I would not even try reading it. Just leave it alone here. बहुत लंबा question. It doesn't make any sense wasting any time on it. Okay, let's see 76 to 78. Following graph represents the cost per square feet of 4 retailers from financial. It involves some calculations. Let's see. West side 2005. Let's check. I'm checking for this number just to check how good or bad the calculations are. West side 2005. Where is West side 2005? West side is this rightmost thing. So this is the number, I guess, 1724, and this is 2411. So I have to compare what this decline is like. 2411 say. This is 1724. This is the first value. Pantaloon 2008. Where is Pantaloon? Pantaloon is the first one. 2008 is this number. So this is the number. 2008. This is 7 से कितना फर्क है? This is starts at 2004 and ends at 2004 से started here. and ended at 1656. Okay, let's write it down for the rest of the values as well. Okay, let's do it for shopper stop. Shopper stop is this one, 2009 shopper stop, 2197 2419 to 2197. Can you see another problem with these questions? That since this is so much data, you'll actually have to struggle with the numbers, finding exact numbers, and this is prone to errors. So, Meghna says that I've written a wrong value, it's 2044. Where is that? Pantaloon 2008. Okay. This is not 2004, this is 2044. Thanks, Meghna, thanks. This is 2044 to 1656. And what is the last value? Vishal 2010. Vishal is the third one. So this is 1659 going to 2010 is I guess this is 1064. So these are the values, I think. Okay, so what do we have to calculate here? It says sharpest decline. So basically, we have to calculate the exact value check, which is the okay. Let's just calculate the approximate values. So if you look at the first one, this one. This is an increase of 10% of 24, 10% of this number, 10% would be 240, 241. So 20% would be 480 and 30% would be 720. So can I say 30% of this number, this 2411 would be around 700. So 2411 minus 700 would be something like this, 1724. So can I say that this is slightly less than 30%? So this value 1724 is approximately 2411 70%. So I'll say that the drop here is around 30%. I'll not calculate exact value, just approximate values, because this is one question at least which looks manageable. I think we should be able to do this. Come to the second one. This is 2044. 2044, 10% would be 204, 20% would be double of 20, which is 408. Now this is a drop of less than 408. So can I say that for this second one, the value would be less than 20%? So this definitely cannot be our answer. This second one is ruled out. This cannot be the answer. So answer is either the first one or the third one or the fourth one. Let's see. 2419, 2197, this is very small. 2419's 10% would be 241. So this is not even a decrease of 10%. So this is even less than 10%. So the answer option has to be either option A or option D. 1659, 106. So this looks pretty large in fact. So 1659's 10% would be 166. So this is 166. What is the drop like? The drop is around 600. Can I say that the difference between these two values is around 600? So 166 into 4 would be roughly around 660. And so 40% decrease here would have resulted in a drop of around 660, but the drop is around 600. So I'll say that this would be around 37-38%. So clearly my answer cannot be anything else in this question but option D, Vishal 2010. Okay, we could do it, I'll not say very easily, but we could write this down. And the problem here sometimes is writing the exact numbers. We could do this because if you look at the options are far apart. So it is 30% for first, around 30%, and less than 20% for second, less than 10% this, and for the last one it's around 37-38%. So we could do it easily, but it might not be the same for the rest of the questions. So somebody is asking, Ramayani is saying, how do you know that we have to calculate the percentage? When we talk about the sharpest decline, so this term in itself is sufficient to tell you that they are asking about the percentage change and not the absolute change. So when it's sharpest decline, steepest rise of things like that, so it's always a percentage change. So I'll not do the rest of the questions here, but the trick here would be to ensure that the questions that you are doing, the options are not very close. So I would not be interested in knowing what is the exact percentage drop when this 2411 drops to 1724. What I'm interested in knowing is what is the number that it's close to. So it's close to 30%. Second option, close to 20%, close to 10%, this is close to 40%. So my answer cannot be anything else but option 2, which is Vishal. Now I'm not sure if I did this question or not, I don't remember, but going by the look of it, if I did some DI, which I definitely did, I think some 2, 3, 4 questions, then probably I did this one. Not read the rest of the questions here, because probably something easier is waiting for us there towards the end. Let's have a look at this next question. The table below represents the information collected by TRI about the, this is the question that we are reading now. Okay, so it has given us data of quite a few Indian states about the subscribers in millions for December 2009 and March 2010. Right. Let's go to the next page and see what they're asking. I don't think I would even want to read question number 80 and 81. They may say it looks quite cumbersome. It looks very lengthy, right? So Rahul says it looks very lengthy. Absolutely, I absolutely agree with you. It looks very, very lengthy. Let's just quickly read just question number 79 once. Probably it's manageable. Which service areas observed maximum rate of change from December 2009 to March 2010 in percentage? Now there are 4 options. So probably this is manageable. UP East. What is the difference? Let's go there. UP East. Where is UP East? This is 39.68 to 45.43 percentage. They're asking about the percent difference only, no? Okay, Bihar. I'll mark the 4 states first. UP East, Bihar, Odisha, Haryana. So the states are UP East, Bihar, Haryana was one of them, and what was the, I forgot. This was Bihar, Odisha. Odisha was one of the states, right? So these are the states. So again, they are asking nothing but the percentage change. If you look at this, this is a change of, I think, 39.68 is close to 40. It's a change of around 13-14% roughly. This is 53.17, 38.36. Again, I will say slightly more than this. Odisha check karte hain jaldi se. This is close. Okay. I'll say that the options are close here because it looks to me that Bihar probably is higher than UP, but not much. So if this is in the range of 13 to 14, this would probably in the range of 14 to 15, not more than that. Look at Odisha once, 13.57, 13.57, 15.89. This looks to be probably slightly higher than the other two. So this is how much? Close to 20. This is a difference of, and write the difference in absolute terms. This is the difference of 2.32. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the difference. 2.3 in a base of. This looks more than 15% to me. Let's check the last option out. Haryana. Haryana will not be the answer because Haryana state, you can see it's definitely less than Odisha. So the fight is between UP East, Bihar, and Odisha. So what I generally do in questions like this is I would not calculate the exact value. To me, the answer has to be Odisha. It looks more than both of these, UP East and Bihar. Though I would agree that the options are not very far apart, and the options are actually very close. But since I've given it some time, and mark Odisha as the answer in this question. The options are actually very close in this. I would not do the rest of the questions on this. Probably we'll just read question number 82 once. 82 is the all India rate of change in the number of subscribers from December to March is. Let's just see. All India change program. This is. I think this is a lot of data. I would not be interested in reading everything here. Just a second. No, I think we'll have to add everything up. At least I cannot see a shortcut here. Okay, somebody is asking about the states, how to choose states and this according to the Deepan is asking about in question 80, do we choose states in East and South from general knowledge? Yes. There was some problem in this question, some data was missing and there was some ambiguity in this question as well. So, in fact, it was good that we left question number 80 and at least I left question number 80 and 81 in the paper because they looked lengthier, they were ambiguous as well. 82 was not difficult, but the problem was that it involved a lot of calculations. So, I'm not sure if I did question 79 or not, but had I done this, I would have marked this Odisha as my answer option. So I've already done the first 14 questions, plus one or two from here and there. So I think I'm already at that 16, 17 mark. Let's see if there's anything else worth attempting in this paper. Okay, 83 to 87. Okay, oh my god, it looks very, very lengthy. What is this? Just read it very quickly. I don't think I'm going to do this. At least not when I've already done. Okay, this is a very lengthy question, I think. Okay, so this is. Okay, this is going on and on. 83. This still continues here. No, I'm definitely not going to. Look at this. Look at the size of this question. This is 6 and 9. I think comprehension will take a lot of time, so I'll definitely not do this set. Let's move ahead. Okay, again, though the bar graph does not look very scary, just look at this. Just look at the size of this question. 89, 90. It's kind of scaring me. No, I don't think somebody says it's equal to doing 2 RC passages. Would absolutely agree with you. Deepak is asking, this is IIFT 2010-12 paper. This is 11-13 paper. 2 years back it was held. I don't think I'll be interested in doing this set. Let's move ahead and see what else is there. Question number 92, a single question on DI. Let's read it once very quickly. Refer to the following pie chart, answer the questions that follow. This looks like an absolute checker to me. What's saying is Bihar or Madhya Pradesh mein difference kitna. So the difference is, let's calculate it very quickly. Bihar is 45 and Madhya Pradesh is 32.4. So the difference here between Bihar and Madhya Pradesh would be this difference, 45, and this is what, 12.6. So what he's asking us to do is 12.6% of how much? I think 72,000. Yep, this is the calculation. So what is left here now? Yeah, this is it. Yep. Okay, this is not percentage. This would be. Okay, right. I thought I was making some mistake. No, this is fine now. So this is how much? This gets cancelled here, 36. Maybe, yeah. I think this is it. 12.6 into, I think, yeah, this is it. So this is 12.6 into 200. Absolutely not. This is it. So 12.6 into 200 would be 126 into 2. This is 2520. Yeah. This is your answer. So this was one sitter hidden in different very tough TI sets. So it's important to notice these questions and capitalize upon them. I remember doing this question. There was the single DI question which many people did not notice because it appeared towards the end of the section. Let's look at this 93 to 95 now. Okay, so it's a huge chart that is given. Figures in million population, years are given, educated, and figures in million number of males. Okay, let's move forward now. Yes, again we'll have to do some calculations at least. Yes, I think we'll have to do some calculations because look, the problem here is that just look at this thing. So the total number is given. What we'll have to do is figure in million population. So this is 1995, 600 people were there. So when it says figure in million number of males is 300, 600 minus 300 would be 300. So that way we'll have the number of females, and we'll have to do it likewise for all the years. I think similarly for the million educated. So if it's 400 educated, I'll assume that 200 would be uneducated. Let's look at the question. So in which year the percentage increase in the number of females over the previous year is highest? So I think we'll have to check the values. We'll have to just check the values first. Though it does not look like the calculations would be very intimidating, but you'll have to still write some values there. But this still looks like a better set than the ones that we have just left. So probably if you want to do some DI in this was a doable set. Let's look at question number 94 once. But it definitely involves some calculations. So if I have to basically sum up this LRDI section having 35 questions, I'll say that I did 17 and basically it looks slightly immodest to say, but I'll still say that my strategy in this section somehow clicked. So it's a different matter that if I have to choose one between DI and LR, I'll choose LR. But incidentally, probably it turned out to be like this, that LR section was the easier one of this section. But I'm not bad at DI that way. But if you look at the DI, probably it's just two sets. The last one, there was one single question that was very simple, and the one in which we did just I think one or two questions. I'll just show you one. I think we did something in 76 to 78. So if we wanted to definitely attempt some DI sets in this, the sets to attempt would be 76 to 78, which had 3 questions, and the last one which again had 3 to 4 questions. So there were around I think 7 to 8 questions in this paper in DI which could have been tried, but otherwise there were. In fact, I distinctly remember people struggling to make the answer key even after they were out of the examination. How they were using calculators. So in this paper there were a few DI questions that were so tough that people were taking time doing those questions even with the help of a calculator. So just make sure that you're not stuck on any of the questions like this, and utilize your time wisely. Fine. So this is, I think, would be the most important lesson in this. I had devoted some 35 minutes, I think, to this section. If let's assume that somebody had asked me to carry on and on in the section, then probably I would have done this 76 to 78 and the last set of TI after completing that LR. I'm assuming that I did not do much TI because 14 questions I did from I did all 14 questions in the beginning that I remember now. I did that one DI single question that makes it 15, and probably just one or two questions from DI here and there. And this is how I attempted. And I think probably that this is the best lot of 17, 18 questions that could have been selected in the paper. There were 2 or 3 DI sets that were absolutely not to be touched in this paper. So this is how I attempted the DI section in this paper. Okay, now if you've got any specific questions regarding the strategy or anything, you can discuss that with me. I'll quickly move to the first page now of this thing. This was the paper. Ananya is asking how much time did Ananya, I gave roughly around 35 minutes in this. This is the breakup of the time that I've given. So 10-15 minutes to GK, some 35 minutes to quant, some again 35-40 minutes to LRDI, and again some. So you can say that apart from GK, to which I gave just 10-15 minutes, I distributed my time equally between the rest of the three sections, three broad sections. So LRDI, verbal, and quantitative. 35-40 minutes. 35 minutes each, you can probably say. Okay. Swapnil, generally my accuracy is very good. So I attempted 17 in DI. I don't think I attempted more than 12 or 13 in quantitative aptitude. GK I just attempted 6 or 7, 8 questions probably. RC I attempted 7 or 8, and in EU I attempted somewhere around 18-20 questions. Ayush is asking what should we do about the section in which we are the weakest. I think it depends on the section, on the exact nature of the section. So even if you're the weakest, for example, I'll consider myself the weakest in GK, but I still start with GK because I know that it gives me the quickest marks. So that is how you actually decide on the strategy to follow. So it's not about starting with the weakest or ending with the weakest section. Ravi Kumar Singh is asking if cutoff is not mentioned in the instruction set in the question paper, then can I take it as there are no sectional cutoffs? I've already answered this question, I think, Ravi. If cutoffs is not mentioned in the instruction set, then you can very well assume that there are no cutoffs, but I would still say that you do something in the paper. So at times, they say that they would not consider anybody who's got a 0 or a negative score in a section, who would take anybody who has got some score. I'm talking about last ACT paper, I got a call though I had a 0 in two sections, one subsection and I think one section, something like that. But I still got a call. So I'm assuming that they give calls at times, but then there are some certain institutes which say something in positive would be enough. So let's just make sure that you do something in the paper, something in all the sections of the paper. Abdul is asking order of sections. Abdul, if you ask me, I'll say GK, then EU, and then probably then it's your choice. But GK and EU, because they give you marks very, very quickly. Ramani is asking if you have weak in quant, how should we go about it? Ramani, there are some questions. I'm not good in quant. I'm not good in DI. I'm not good in anything. But I still find something to do in every section. And so if you're weak in quant, just make sure that you find your questions to be attempted. All the questions that I did today, and I think I did around 8 to 10 questions quant, were very simple ones. I'm sure you would be able to do all 3 of those questions, all 8 or 10 of those questions. And so find the easier questions for you. In fact, devote a good 3, 4, 5 minutes to finding the questions, probably even 5, 7, 8 minutes, and just do those 10 or 12 questions that you have shortlisted in the rest of the time. No, Akshay, it was not because of WorkX, because they very clearly mentioned that the calls were not profile based. It was the calls were based just on the score. So we had called up and checked with them. And I did not get a 0 in one section, it was a 0 in two sections. So in fact, I'll probably try opening the scorecard of last year's test as well, if it can benefit you in some way. Just give me a moment. Just try opening my scorecard for last year as well. I think this is opening, just a second. Okay, again, this is the same orientation. So this was my scorecard for last year. As you can see, I did not do any DI. Now DI was, as you can see, DI here was not a subsection. DI was a proper section, 16 mark section. I did not do any DI. The reason was very simple. DI looked like it's very calculation intensive. I thought I'll maximize my score. At the same time, we'll be able to check if there are sectional cutoffs or not. They got a 0 here, a big 0 here, but still got a call. Did 15 or 21 logical. Quantitative aptitude, I guess, was simpler as compared to the paper that we just discussed last year. And passage, again, I did not do anything in RC. So I did not do anything in DI. I did not do anything in RC. Just did EU, GK, logical and quantitative aptitude. In fact, GK I never scored much, so I did bulk of the scoring in logical reasoning and quantitative aptitude in this paper. We'll move back to the paper that we were discussing. Somebody is asking if there are separate cutoffs for IIFT Kolkata. No, they give you a common call, and the campus is allocated at a later stage. Okay, Avni is asking, in the remaining days, how would you suggest we can improve quant? Avni, you cannot improve your quant much in the last few days. What you can improve on is your test taking skills. So try and hone your test taking skills, not your quantitative skills. Quantitative skills probably one or two things, but it's the test taking skills. So try and find out how you can select those 12-15 questions to be attempted out of a set of 30 questions. This is the most important thing, most important tip I'll say for the last 10 days. Niharika is asking how much an ideal attempt. Ideal attempt would be different for different sections, but I'll say roughly 50% of the paper. So last year the cutoff shot up, really shot up. So 45 I think was too steep out of, I just made it, I think marginally by my mark or so, but I think not less than 50% of the paper. So if you do questions worth around 50 marks, then you can get score in the range of 40-45 if accuracy is good. But nothing less than 50 marks worth of questions would do. Mudassar says if one is good in speed calculating, is it a good idea to attempt calculative DI? I'll still say not, because the ones which are calculation intensive in IIFT are so very calculation intensive that even if you are good at it, you will still struggle. And then is asking how to improve GK in the last few days. I'll suggest going through the GK compendium that has been uploaded by us and the question bank that is there. Plus you can attend those sessions which is there. I'll just show you the plan for this. So you can probably attend this session here coming up tomorrow by Rajat, and then again the session on 19th. So we realize that students are actually struggling in the GK section, so we have arranged these 3 sessions. So one has already happened, and the recording can be seen on YouTube. The link is there on this thing. So you can find all the sessions links, recordings here on Classapart. So this is careerlauncher.com/Classapart. Plus, just make sure that you don't miss these 2 sessions on 16th and 19th for IIFT GK. Ramayani says should we concentrate on GK or other sections? Ramayani, you cannot concentrate on just one thing. So concentrate probably on areas where you think you're weak. One thing about GK is that though it cannot be improved in a day or two, there are some expected areas in GK which are predictable. So I've made this GK compendium keeping that in mind. So just make sure that you go through that compendium at least for GK now. The way it happened in IRMA, if some of you have attended the IRMA sessions and interacted with people who have done so, they gave us a feedback that there were a lot of questions that came directly from the session that was conducted for IRMA. And so there are some expected areas on which we make those compendiums and deliver those sessions. So just make sure that you don't miss on these sessions. Abdul is asking about some of the material for GK. Abdul, just make sure that you are updated with your, you have been doing, you do all those GK archives that is there in your SIS, plus the compendium in question, and that should be it. Okay, somebody is asking about this session on 18th. 18th is this session basically. 18th is the mock IIFT test designed by CareerLauncher. So the way we conduct proctored mock tests and stuff, we do mock IIFT as well. So this mock IIFT is going to happen on the 18th of this month. So for the people who are taking this test, there is this free analysis from 8 to 10. The only thing that you need to do is take the test. So if you have taken the test, you are eligible for this session, which is going to start at 8 o'clock in the evening on 18th. Somebody is asking how to practice analogy type questions in EU. There can be so many sources, but I'll suggest in place of practicing questions, if you want, you can probably work in vocabulary in the last few days. So probably pick up a good word list like the word like the one probably given at the end of words are made easy, and do those commonly used words. One thing that you can definitely do is apart from doing the frequently used words, you can do all the vocab and all the GK from all the IIFT papers that are available with you. So there are 6 IIFT papers with you. The first time that they gave the paper was in 2006. So all the papers starting from 2006 to right up to 2011, you should do all these papers. Absolutely everything from them. So there's a chance that something will repeat. IIFT is also, slightly notorious for questioning CAT questions, for copying CAT questions directly. So if somebody is interested, you can probably do CAT questions as well, previous CAT questions as well. She is asking about the mock test. No, it's not an online test. It's an offline test conducted at the center in an invigilated environment. Please contact your nearest career launcher center for the same. It's a written paper and pencil based test. People are asking about the mock online test. So what we are going to do is, once you have done this test, like the way we discussed this paper today, once you are done with this test, which is going to be conducted on the 18th of this month, we'll conduct an online analysis of this test over WebEx at 8 p.m. on 18th. And so you would have taken the test just that day only, fresh with it, with all the questions and everything. So I think this session should be helpful for you. This is free for everybody who has taken the test. The only eligibility is that you should have taken this mock IIFT. Rahul says, should more weightage be given to the 1 mark questions? I'll say definitely say yes. Yes, definitely yes. So weightage is already given by them. More weight is given by them, not weightage. And what you should do is try and maximize on 1 markers. But if you look at those half markers and 0.4 markers, they are questions which can be probably be done in less than half time. So that way even they are not very counterproductive that way. So GK question 0.4 marks as compared to one question 1 mark, I'll probably say it's probably fine, probably okay. Jyoti is asking if mock same as the FLT. No, FLTs are different, mock is different. Mock is a new test. FLTs are generally inspired by the earlier tests. So would recommend taking this mock test on 18th. Shayans, I think you still can. Please contact your nearest center. Even if you are not a CL student, I think there will be a way through which you will be able to take this test. Okay, I guess these are the things that I wanted to discuss broadly for you. This is the schedule in front of you for the rest of the IIFT sessions. We'll probably be conducting another session on 21st. Details will be shared with you shortly. But would strictly recommend attending these sessions for everybody who's a serious IIFT aspirant. That's, I think, definitely going to help. Any other questions quickly if somebody is interested in asking something else? Vivek is asking if arithmetic, practicing arithmetic makes sense. Vivek, if you ask me, this can be a personal bias as well. I generally find arithmetic questions doable in IIFT as compared to questions from higher maths or algebra. And so I'm not sure if this is a personal bias or this is true for everybody. I think this is true for everybody because algebra in IIFT is very different from algebra in fact. So I'll say that you should probably target arithmetic. You can probably target arithmetic in an IIFT admission test. Mudassar is asking about the number of seats. The exact number, please go to the website. I'm not sure about the exact number of seats. You'll easily be able to find the exact number of seats in the on the website. Yes, LP GK sessions will be uploaded, but we'll still recommend doing it online live for everybody. Thanks a lot, Akshay. He says that 81 seats for general category and Akshay says 281 seats for general category. Thanks a lot, Akshay. I think this is pretty much it. So I would like to close the session here for the day. Close the day. Just make sure that you take a note of this schedule and attend these sessions accordingly. Hope this session would help you. In case you want to come back to some part of it, this would be uploaded on YouTube, would be available there on this link on careerlauncher.com/classapart. And so this is the link for you where you'll get all the information about the sessions plus all the links and everything. Fine. So just make sure that you have you stay tuned to not to miss up on any of these sessions. Yeah, it takes some time to upload these sessions, but I think this is a technical issue. So that's what I'm saying, that make sure that you upload these sessions, that you attend these sessions live only. So I'll wish you all guys all the very best for your exam. Hopefully we'll meet again before the exam on 18th. I'm not sure if I'll be there or not, but would want to wish you all the best for the exam, the coming exam, and all other exams as well. All the best.